Good afternoon!
Wow!
Hey, happy Friday, everybody!
To everyone but Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah. Well, I think he has found a way to compartmentalize everything that is going wrong in his world.
I think he's rebounded pretty well so far today.
Yeah, not too shabby.
Outside of Colin Morikawa, best round of the day so far at the PGA Championship. Cuffed, stuffed, dropping putts.
I mean, what an we'll get into it, but what an I woke up to this like already having transpired, and I was just like, what the hell happened? And I like.
It turns out we still aren't quite sure.
What in the Dukes of Hazzard happened here?
Yeah, Roscoe Pickle String.
I mean, every bit of this just reeks of good old boy stupidity.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty dumb.
Oh,
it's pretty dumb.
God.
We'll dive into this later in the show because it deserves a little bit of breath.
Yeah.
Let it breathe a little bit. And I want to talk about it at the top of the hour because Scheffler will be done with his round within the hour.
And we might actually hear from him.
I hope we do. I hope they don't Caitlin Clark him. You see Caitlin Clark? No media last night.
Yeah.
No, you score 9 points and you're going to give no medias? She's a rookie. Let's give her a break here, okay? But I love the people defending her that she doesn't need to do the media. It's
yes, she does.
Yeah,
absolutely, unequivocally. Yes,
she does.
Yes,
after games?
Not only that, the biggest star to come in the WNBA in years, who has a tidal wave behind her, absolutely, unequivocally, without a doubt, shut up, has to do media.
Yeah, I think people are piling, and I say give her a break here because she's a rookie, because people have heaped on unrealistic expectations, and turns out, like Diana Taurasi and Sue Bird, we're actually kind of right. Like, there is going to be a reckoning when you go to the WNBA, right? It is not going to be as easy as it was in college and all that stuff.
That team's also terrible.
They are. There's a reason why they had the number one pick, okay? But there's this super defense of her, like, oh my God, if that was Wemby, if it was, whoever the number one pick this year is going to be, whether it's
Wemby played incredible, but he also had some early stinkers.
Yeah.
Remember Chet might be rookie of the year.
Yeah. That was a thing.
That
was a thing.
It lasted for a whole 2.5 months.
But this is where the WNBA needs to put her out front and center and talk about it, is because remember, Sabrina was going to be the next big wave. She struggled out of the gate, too. I mean, I think she had a triple-double.
Her very first game.
And very first game.
The next 10 games were rough.
Just like Caitlin Clark went 4 for 11 from 3 in her very first game. Yep. And then teams start buckling down. You play better teams, all that stuff. But you can't just hide from the lows and only ride the highs.
Jamal Murray.
By the way, since we cracked the mics here, Scotty Scheffler has birdied again, and Morikawa just bogeyed his 18th hole of the day, so they're now separated by 2 strokes.
Hey, all right. That was a live leaderboard update.
Yeah,
there was a live leaderboard update with Scotty Scheffler. I texted you guys this right as the news was kind of breaking. I was really hoping Scotty Scheffler shot a 61 today.
Just went absolutely bonkers.
And then, we have Tigers Sunday red. I was hoping Scotty Scheffler Friday orange became a thing. Where it is like orange is his Friday color.
His caddy should 100% go orange jumpsuit.
Yeah. That's right.
Go,
he should have.
Go get the master style throwback jumper and throw one of those on in bright orange.
Just everybody else is wearing white.
Yeah.
That was a weird thing to see early in the morning, because it was like, what?
When you first sent that, it sent me down the rabbit hole because I had no idea what the hell was going on.
Yeah. The rabbit hole is.
I was like, wait, what's that?
Deep.
What the hell is he talking about?
And, the internet.
I opened up Twitter. I thought I was getting ball sacked.
Yeah, right? It 100% is that. No, we're going to let him go.
Let Russ cook. Ball sack sports, that is.
Yes.
Ball sack sports, yeah.
Yes.
That, it was one of those things where you're just like, whoa, what is going on here? Yeah, and, lost in all of the stupidity surrounding Scotty Scheffler being arrested was somebody died. Like,
Yeah.
somebody died.
Yeah, everybody seems to be
Like,
kind of
there's-
glossing over that.
There's a reason why there were so many police and there was like mass confusion going on. Like, somebody died in a car accident heading into that tournament.
Involving a shuttle bus.
It was a volunteer who died from the tournament. Like, a tragedy happened, but then all hell broke loose of dumb after that, and that's why Scotty Scheffler ended up getting arrested in the first place. But he's out there dropping putts, dropping birdies. He has one bogey. He birdied one, bogeyed two, and then he has been flawless ever since the second hole.
What a way to dissociate.
Yeah, now his Masters performance makes a lot more sense.
Look, Scotty Scheffler, probably a sociopath.
But that's-
hey,
but-
great.
Maybe not being a sociopath, but probably being a sociopath. It's what
Probably.
makes you a great golfer, though, is being able to compartmentalize
Yeah.
everything and
Goldfish
like
brain.
you flush it and you live to play the next shot, not the next hole. The next shot
Yeah.
you've got to be better at, right? And that's what all the greatest golfers have the ability to do. And like you could be a sociopath, like I mean the Tiger,
Yeah.
right? Like Tiger and all the waitresses and tail he was chasing.
Yes.
You know, like yeah,
On to the next.
all he cares about is himself.
Yeah.
And so Scotty Scheffler seems like a great guy. He was the last person I would have imagined getting arrested on the tour. Like John Daly's just like, whoa, glad I had the late tee time today, you know? Like
Yeah, you don't give John Daly the early tee time for a number of reasons.
that was just, it was what? Just crazy. Craziness happening. But we'll get you, we'll get the details of kind of how everything unfolded because the world's number one golfer got arrested before his round.
Quick processing.
Do you think he was like going through his putting stroke or his swing like when he was
100%. Also,
Like-
throwing him in the orange jumpsuit and processing him in that manner,
dude?
that just lets you know just how petulant and childish that whole thing is. Because you don't put him in that. You know he's going in and out.
Yeah.
But they did it to make a big deal out of it. And now I have a reeling suspicion that he has more money, power, and lawyers than the good old boys do. And I have I don't know, man. I feel like he's probably going to drag some folks, and it's not behind a car.
Whoa.
Just saying.
No. This whole thing is crazy. This is it's a weird way to wake up.
Yeah.
Weird start to the day. I can't. And I was watching First Take, and I heard this one from Stephen A. Smith. They had Jeff Darlington on, who's covering it, who was there when it all went down. He and Dave Fleming of ESPN. Dave Fleming of Pac-12 After Dark fame. They were both there watching the whole thing unfold. Stephen A. Smith goes, there are people wondering why Scotty Scheffler even drives his own car. That was the first question Stephen A. asked. Why is he even driving his own car? And Darlington's like, okay, yeah, I guess that's a good question. Oftentimes these guys do drive themselves to the course, you know, like they're people. They do drive. Even Tiger.
Stephen A's like, I don't drive anywhere.
Yeah, like, did we learn nothing from Tiger's car accident where he was in the car by himself driving away from a golf course? Like, they drive themselves often. And this one's even weirder because it was a marked PGA Championship car.
Courtesy car.
That it happened. So, all right. Well, we talked Scotty Scheffler out of the gate.
And we'll talk some more.
Yo, we will. Because we haven't even gotten into the deets that have been unveiled. And the internet is a cesspool, but I'll tell you what. The internet turned around content in a hurry.
Oh, my God.
Whether it was like the Scotty Scheffler walking out of the clubhouse to Many Men by 50 Cent. Like, it was like minutes after he walked out.
See that one.
It was him walking from the clubhouse to the first tee, and it was Many Men. Another one was I don't know who it was, but it was somebody about like Kentucky. It was like the first lyrics were like, "I'm Kentucky's most wanted," like, and then went into a thing. It was like, oh my gosh, the internet is these people.
Shooter
How do
McGavin
you
with
do
the
this so quickly?
welcome to the club
My God. With his own
with his own
mugshot.
mugshot and Tigers and John Daly's with Akon's locked up
Gosh.
playing
Yeah.
behind it.
Yeah. All right. And we do have text. I just want to get this out of the way. This text says they treated him like everyone else if they had not listened to police, right? But I think both sides made dumb choices. I want to get this out of the way before we move on. Scheffler was told by police up the road to do what he did,
Yes.
according to the reporting right now, which is you drive down, go into the median, and turn other golfers in the courtesy cars that were being driven to the course were doing the exact same thing. For whatever reason, Scheffler was following their instructions, and then one police officer
Didn't like it.
didn't like it, jumped on the car and held on for some reason.
Yeah.
And that was the issue. Apparently there was confusion going on everywhere. And then the guy like reached into the car and yanked him out. Like,
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Let's get to it. Rufio with a good text on the Vancouver Ford text line. Can we keep Danny's blood pressure lowish during the opening segment? There's way too much other stuff throughout the rest of the show to give Danny a coronary. Yes. I would like to say it has been one full day since Danny yelled on this program.
It's true.
There we go. There we go. Let's make it 2. You want to make it 2 heading into the weekend?
Yeah.
All right. Coming up next, ownership. No. We do have a guest today. Corey. Oh, boy. Corey what? Tulaba.
Yeah.
Corey Tulaba. No ceilings. I knew that was going to happen.
NBA
Corey
draft.
Tulaba. No ceilings. He's a curator of vibes.
There you go.
That's a very, very, very distinguished title.
It
that I
is.
need to talk to him about.
Mm.
Curator of vibes for No Ceilings. He joins us at 12:30. You have unveiled your mock draft 1.0.
Yeah, 1.0.
We need
all
to-
30 of those.
We're not going to go through all 30, are we?
No, God,
Okay,
no.
thank you. Good Lord.
It's not August.
But it's not August, but the draft is coming up,
No.
and you do, through the intel you have gathered from your contacts, some of the people that have joined this program,
Indeed.
coming out of the NBA Draft Combine, you have your mock draft 1.0 that you have put up on the Patreon.
Indeed.
And we're going to go through some of it, and if you want all 30, you can go to the Patreon.
Mhm.
How about that, huh?
Indeed.
We'll give you a little taste, just a
It's
taste.
a lot of indeeds.
All right. Where we got to start this thing, though, Nugs get burnt in Minnesota. Well, yikes. Danny Dusty on the fan.
I thought I was getting ball sacked.
The words we all love to hear when it comes to the playoffs. Game 7, baby. We're going to get one. The Minnesota Timberwolves absolutely manhandle the Denver Nuggets last night, 115-70. They blazered the Nuggets in the playoffs in a Game 6. They beat them by 45 points.
Yeah, beat the brakes off them.
That was
I wonder if they should fire Michael Malone.
fire Mike Malone.
Yeah.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
They lost by a lot. So that's what happens, right?
Yeah, you fire him then.
Yeah.
That game was a butt kicking of galactic proportions. The Nuggets race out to a 9-2 lead, a 20-0 run, breaks that thing wide open, and they did not look back. I thought it was bad with a 14-point first quarter. How about a 9-point fourth quarter by the Denver Nuggets where they just said, no, we're done.
Combined 23 points between the first and fourth quarters.
They went no mas.
Which is
no mas.
The Timberwolves scored more than that in every single quarter. So it's tough. I mean,
well, in this is where you kind of look at that dominance. The Timberwolves' worst quarter in that game was better than the best quarter of the Denver Nuggets scoring-wise. The Nuggets' highest point total in a quarter, when you score 70 points, it's not going to be a lot anyways.
No.
But it was 26 points.
More than a third of their points came in one quarter.
The worst quarter for the Nuggets was 27.
Mm-hmm.
It was absolute dominance, and had I known they were going to wear their throwback uniforms, I would have picked the Timberwolves to win. You're not going to lose a game in those unis.
It does help, but
those were sweet.
The biggest help here is that Nikola Jokic is the only player that showed up for the Nuggets.
Yep.
Jamal Murray was a steaming bag of ass. He was horrendous. There was nothing redemptive. And you can talk about his calf. It's like, well, he played really well last game. So which one is it? Is the shot not taking effect, or what is it? Because he was horrendous on every level. And I think you can go, yeah, Jamal Murray's not right. And I can absolutely agree with you. But you also go, Minnesota whooped him up and down the court. That is the thing that was more prevalent.
And I think that is where you look back at what Minnesota did effectively in games 1 and 2 is exactly what they went back to in game 6. And we talked at length over the previous couple of days about how double teaming Jokic it's really hard to do because of the fact that you then give spacing for shooters to shoot, right? But when you can take the ball out of Jamal Murray's hands and you pressure him for 94 feet, and then you're effective in your rotations when you get into the half-court game. Like, it is so hard to do what Minnesota has done in all 3 of their victories, which is pressure for 94 feet and then have perfection when you get to half-court in rotations as you're double-teaming Nikola Jokic. And we saw it was some of the best team defense that I think I have seen, like, and I'm not being hyperbolic here, I think ever. Like, the rotations that you see, the intensity that you've seen on the defensive end because of the margin for error when you're playing a guy like Jokic, and when you have, as we've talked about, Aaron Gordon run that dunker's lane, you have the fact that Michael Porter Jr. can beat you with 3-pointers. Jamal Murray as a ball handler, it is really hard to defend this Nuggets team, and they've done it 3 different times.
The thing, credit for me goes to 2 guys. One, everyone wants to talk about Jay McDaniels' offensive output last night because he was 8 of 10, incredibly efficient. But he's a 6'10" defender who's just hellacious. He's a pterodactyl, just bothers guys endlessly. And this is the thing that I have highlighted so much about this Minnesota Timberwolves, not even just this playoffs. Mike freaking Conley. He is just he gets them organized on both sides of the floor. He's a calming presence. He matters so much to them. He gets you, 13, 5, and 4? That's pretty normal output for him.
Yeah.
It's not about necessarily the output. It's all of the intangibles. He is a floor leader. He is an organizer. There's very few guys in the NBA who can do this at his level. And it allows Anthony Edwards to do what he does, which is be a plus 43 last night.
They won by 45.
27, 4, and 4. He's shooting over 65% true shooting percentage on over a 30 usage rate, which Giannis Antetokounmpo had the highest usage rate true shooting percentage combo in NBA history this past year. He did not break 65%, and that's what Ant is doing, is a Giannis-like work rate with an even more efficient output. And he's not, look, he dunks the ball a lot. He does not dunk it at the rate that Giannis Antetokounmpo does.
Plus 43 in 34 minutes.
Yeah, which means you were just running them out of the gate. And where did that come from? A 27-2 run after the Nuggets go up 9-2. And the first 3 minutes of the game, I was like, well, Timberwolves are done. Like, they came out with nothing. They came out flat. Jokic beat Cat down the floor for an early bucket, and I was like, this is the intensity you're coming out with?
Well, that needs to be discussed, too. They did this with Karl Anthony Towns, 4 of 10 from the field, 0 for 4 from 3, only 10 points from Cat. But defensively he was there. And I think if you're Minnesota, you're going to take that 10 times out of 10.
100%. You want him taking shots. You want him being involved in the offense. But because Cat has been soft through so much of his career, people tend to forget that he's a legitimate 7 foot, 265, 270. Cat is huge. He is a barrel-chested, thick, heavy, strong dude. Now, has he always used it or utilized it? No, and that has often been a criticism. But he has, with the exception of, was it game 5? Game 4. Game 4 where he just was non-existent. It was Mother's Day game, whatever game that was. And for obvious reasons with his family, you kind of understand why that went perhaps that way, and maybe that's just the nature of the beast for him. But he's been great, and it's been this team effort, and I really liked what Finch had to say when Gobert was out when they won Game 2. We won not because we're better without Rudy. We won because our defensive identity starts with him, and it's not about him just being on the floor. It's about what he has meant to this team for the last 2 years and the accountability and being on a string. And it doesn't change if he's not on the floor. And I think you saw that with them last night, with the exception of the first 3.5, 4 minutes of the game.
Yeah, I mean, that it was exactly what you want him to be. Exactly what you want him to be, especially when you have Ant Edwards playing the way that he did. We're going to have a lot more on this game, this series, as the show goes on. But coming up next, we got a guest. He is with No Ceilings. He's a curator of vibes for No Ceilings. We're going to dive in a little bit more to the NBA draft with the Combine in the rearview mirror. The Blazers going to be sitting at 7th and 14th selections in the first round. Corey Tulaba from No Ceilings. He joins us after Jeff Rust with the SportsCenter update.
This is a PGA Championship Week edition of Danny and Dusty.
Brought to you by Langdon Farms Golf Club.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a SportsCenter update on 1080 The Fan.
If you've been arrested for DUI, you need a team of attorneys that you can put your trust into. Call Reynolds Defense Firm today, online at reynoldsdefensefirm.com. First on The Fan. Plenty of drama off the course at the PGA Championship ahead of the weekend as world number 1 Scotty Scheffler arrested by Louisville Metro Police this morning, attempting to enter Valhalla Golf Club, trying to avoid traffic stemming from a pedestrian fatality involving a shuttle bus. The start of round 2 was delayed due to the accident. Scheffler has returned, is on the course. He is on 18, getting ready to wrap up his round. He's 5 under on the day through 17, 9 under overall. That leaves him 2 strokes off the pace set by Colin Morikawa at 11 under. He shot a 6 under 65 today. Xander Schauffele is 1 stroke back at 10 under, and alongside Scotty Scheffler is Thomas Dietrich. Pacers host the Knicks tonight in the NBA playoffs, looking to extend the series to a Sunday Game 7 at Madison Square Garden. OG Anunoby out for New York as he continues to deal with a hamstring injury. Tip at 5:30 on ESPN. The Pacers are 5.5-point favorites, and the Mariners kick off a 10-game trip with 3 at the Orioles. Bryce Miller starting for Seattle. John Means for Baltimore. 4:05 first pitch on Root Sports. The Mariners hold a 1.5 game lead over the Rangers for the AL West lead. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
The home of prime time with Isaac and Sue. Weekdays 3 to 7, 1080 The Fan.
Hey, it's Rob for Window Nation. Who doesn't love saving money? And right now it's Window Nation's semi-annual sale where 50% off all window styles plus 0 interest for 5 years and an additional bonus if you schedule an appointment this week. That's throughout the month. And hey, if you need new windows, Window Nation carries customized windows by Milgard. They're made locally for our climate. It's easy. Call 866-90-NATION right now. 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com to schedule a free no obligation quote.
1 in 4 Americans have a disability. I'm one of them. I'm also a working mom who cares deeply about making sure every child with a disability thrives by getting their access needs met. We've got a trusted ally by our side. Easter Seals provides children and families the foundation for lifelong success through early learning programs, skills training, and prep for college and career. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours. Join us at easterseals.com.
For the ones who work hard to ensure their crew can always go the extra mile, and the ones who get in early so everyone can go home on time, there's Grainger, offering professional-grade supplies backed by product experts so you can quickly and easily find what you need. Plus, you can count on access to a committed team ready to go the extra mile for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Looking to get help with your ED? Hims has just a minty thing, hard mints. That's right, hard mints. Go to hims.com/mints, and you can access a mint-flavored, on-the-go, convenient ED treatment, so you're ready whenever the mood strikes. Plus, you can subscribe and save up to 25% if prescribed. Hims Hard Mints contain the same ingredients as the brand names like Cialis, and you can get them through a 100% online process with no copay, no time-consuming appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. Just go to hims.com/mints to get connected with a licensed medical provider who can determine if hard mints are right for you. If prescribed, they ship right to your door for free. Get started with a free 100% online consultation today at hims.com/mints. That's hims.com/mints for your free online visit.
Hard Mints is a chewable compounded product which are not approved by or verified for safety or effectiveness by the FDA. Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Baseball is in full swing. NBA playoffs are heating up, and your NFL team is gearing up for training camp. Listen to the latest on the teams you love with the free Odyssey app. The biggest sports radio stations in the country, providing unrivaled local coverage of their teams, all in one place. Exclusive interviews with players, coaches, and team executives, streaming live and always available on demand. Stay in the know with your favorite teams with Odyssey. AUDACY. Download the free Odyssey app today.
Hello, yeah, it's been a while.
This is a PGA Championship Week edition of Danny and Dusty
Brought to you by Langdon Farms Golf Club.
on 1080 The Fan.
Joining us now from No Ceilings, we're going to talk a little NBA draft with Corey Tulaba from No Ceilings, the curator of vibes. Now, Corey, thanks for taking a few minutes for us, man. That's a title that comes with a lot of pressure, being a curator of vibes.
Well, every day I wake up knowing that, I have that weight on my shoulders and I have a standard to adhere to. So I take it very seriously over at No Ceilings.
I love it. As we are in the thick of it right now, we come out of the draft lottery and into the NBA draft combine. What have been your takeaways with the way that the draft board kind of fell post-lottery and what you ended up seeing throughout the NBA draft combine process?
Well, I think, most people were shocked that Atlanta made the jump that they did. But at the same time, I feel like over the last few years, since that they've changed the way that the lottery percentages played out, there have been a bunch of different jumps in one way or the other and a bunch of falls, right? The Pistons, once again, dropped to an unfortunate fate in a way that, most franchises wouldn't have to deal with. But I kind of like the unpredictability of it. As someone who covers the draft year round, it makes it really fun. Anytime you can do like a tankathon sim, it feels like that order could be the order that actually happens. At the draft combine, I love the draft combine. It is for the draft sickos out there for sure, but there's a lot of really good stuff that you can find with some of these players who maybe didn't have the biggest hype because they were at maybe a mid-major school. You look at Jalen Williams, Brandon Pajemski. These are guys who had a little bit of hype, but they played in the combine scrimmages, had a great week, and all of a sudden now they're top 20 picks, lottery picks. So I think there's a lot of opportunity for players to really make a name for themselves that otherwise maybe wouldn't be able to. This year, the coverage was a little bit different if you had watched in any capacity from prior years for one reason in particular, but it is always an incredible week of hoop for the truly psychotic draft fans.
Corey, before we get into kind of what would make sense for Portland or kind of how draft boards are shaking out, who are the guys that are both rising and falling the intel that kind of came with Combine Week?
I think that Reed Sheppard helped himself a little bit with his, his combine strength, agility testing, 42-inch vertical from him. I think was important to let people know he really was more athletic maybe than people thought that he was. I think that a guy like Dalton Knecht helped himself because he had pretty good, testing numbers as well. And, for an older prospect who kind of burst onto the scene, who clearly was an athlete, when he had a straight line, questions about his defense potentially, seeing that he does have the potential to, move, more side to side was definitely helpful.
Two white guys who beat the accusations?
I'm sorry?
Two white guys who beat the accusations, you're saying?
Exactly. But I think Devin Carter is another guy that really had a good combine week as well with some of the athletic testing. He had a great wingspan. I know the NBA website really panicked after some fake measurements came out. Stephen Castle was having a tough week for a while, but they fixed that, and he's going to be just fine. So, yeah.
As we look here in Portland, I mean, obviously dropping down to 7 was not what fans wanted here in Portland, but if you're not going to be in the top 2, I mean, dropping down isn't the worst case scenario here in this situation. As you look at where Portland is at and slotted at 7 and holding Golden State's 14th picks, what is your assessment of this draft class and what kind of value can they get in a draft that has been regarded as one that's not very deep?
Yeah, I don't think that there is much of a difference between the 7th pick and the 14th pick as far as the kind of talent that is going to be available to you, to be completely honest. So I guess from a perspective of this is a weak class, you can look at it as, maybe the 7th pick might not be as impactful as your normal 7th pick in any given year, but your 14th maybe is a little bit better than that of in a normal year, because you could get a player pretty easily that is better than the guy that you get at 7. I think that even still, if you listen to any mock draft podcast, if you go to any mock draft, whether it's on No Ceilings or ESPN or Bleacher Report, you're going to find an order that is probably not the same. So, I mean, honestly, we drafted our last mock draft, we had Donovan Clingan going to Portland at 7, and he is, technically like the 4th ranked prospect amongst the consensus public scouts. So, you're going to be able to get a talented guy at 7 still, because I think that this year in particular, teams are going to be drafting for not only, who is the most highly touted, biggest potential kind of prospect, but maybe guys who actually fit their roster and their team, meaning that some people are going to flip because there just aren't enough home run swings to play by the best player available mantra. There's only a few of those guys in this class, and even those guys are guys that have question marks. So I think that there are going to be people that are getting mocked towards the top of the draft who could fall and be available to Portland at 7.
When you look at what Portland has to do kind of coming out of this draft, going into next year, and then realistically going into the 2025 lottery, what do you think that they should do with those picks? Do you look at it as both picks should be swinging for the fences, getting the most upside as possible? Is it trying to get a guy with a higher floor while balancing out swinging for the fences? What do you kind of think is the best possible approach holistically for them going into this draft?
I think the thing that they should be accomplishing, whether they're swinging or maybe taking a guy with a higher floor, I think that they need to target somebody who can shoot the basketball effectively. If you're building around Scoot Henderson, and obviously you have Shaden, you have Ant Simon, those guys are great shooters in their own right. But when you have a Scoot, you have a DeAndre Ayton, you can't get enough shooting around those kinds of players. So I think that they need to acquire somebody who is a real shooter, maybe with both of those picks. I think having 2 picks affords you the luxury of maybe taking that swing with one of those picks and maybe finding that higher floor guy with one of the other picks. But there's so many different ways. I don't think that they can go wrong whether they take 2 swings. They take a guy like John Salon in the draft, who is a 6'10", 6'11". Portland loves their big wings with length. Like, if they take a guy like that who has the potential to be a shooter, maybe play style kind of like a Michael Porter Jr., is a little raw, but is playing in a pro league, still in the playoffs there. I mean, I can see that being a guy who, you would target in that vein. But also, if you want to, we mentioned Dalton Connect earlier, he's a guy, he's a little older, so you think that he has a higher, or a lower floor, but he's a real deal shooter. So I think whatever the case is, continue adding pieces that you think can fit around your core. You're not getting a game changer in this draft at those picks, most likely. Crazier things have happened. Obviously, you have your Giannis, you have your Nikola Jokic examples. Those are few and far between. Just get guys that you think fit around the players that you believe are your biggest building blocks. And to me, those guys are going to have to shoot the ball.
Look, I'm picking it up now. I can see why you're the curator of vibes, because you were just speaking our language right there. You picked all the vibes up. Big body wing that can shoot. Yes, we use both of the picks on a guy like that. Take a flyer, go and get him. I love it. Who's a sleeper in this draft? A guy that you like a lot that maybe you feel other draft analysts or people around the scouting process may be missing on a little bit?
Well, right now, I think Bub Carrington is a really fun guy. For the people who follow this stuff all year round, like, he burst onto the scene early at Pitt. He had like a triple-double. He's one of the youngest players in the class. Kind of tailed off towards the end, but to me, he's as good a swing as anybody in this class. He's a 6'5" guard who can get his own shot. Definitely needs to get stronger so he can, it can help with his finishing around the rim and on the other side of the ball. But I think offensively he has a pro-style game, and he's a real-deal shot maker and playmaker. And when I say the playmaking stuff, what's impressive, him being 18, having the ball as much as he did, he doesn't turn the ball over a lot, so he's a good decision maker on top of the playmaking that he's shown. I think he has potential, almost as much potential as any of these kind of raw, five-star guys who have question marks at the top of the draft. And right now, where we're at in the process, he's a guy that you're not going to see mocked in the lottery all that much. As far as, maybe some other sleepers in this class, I love Jamal Shed. He's a guy who, he's not really going to help you with your shooting much, but he's just a winner. He knows how to play the game. He's been in big games. To me, if you look at Davion Mitchell, I don't think there's a big difference in, now that we've seen what Davion is in the league, because his shooting didn't translate. I don't really think there's a big difference in where they're at as prospects. And Davion went in the top 10. Jamal Shed's going to go somewhere in the second round. He's really interesting. That a guy like Dylan Jones from Weber State, mid-major, a guy who is just a box score filler. 6'6" in shoes, 6'11" wingspan. He put up 20, 10, and 5 this year. If you look at his athletic testing at the combine this year compared to last year, he made major strides. I think he added 4.5 inches to his vert, got quicker in the agility drills. So he's another guy that I think super high IQ, and if he's in the right situation, he's going to be a guy that we look back and go, man, if he was at a Power 5, he probably would have gone way higher, but he was a sleeper because, he wasn't on ESPN all the time. So I think he's another interesting guy.
I got a two-parter for you. One, what's kind of your ideal 7-14 pick combination for Portland as things kind of unfold? Again, ideal, not necessarily big board wise, but just realistic fit. And then who are a couple names to know for picks 34 and 40, as Portland also has 2 second-round picks that are a little earlier than most?
Yeah, I think, if you're depending on your strategy coming into this draft, I think a guy that fits at 7, that kind of goes along with the type of players that Portland has valued with those big wings, like a guy like Cody Williams, who is a little bit higher of a swing potential-wise, but still kind of fits because he's like more of like a connecting guy. He shot it well. He's got good touch, not crazy volume on his shooting, but still you can picture him turning into a good shooter. He's Jalen Williams' brother from the Thunder, so he's a guy that has the NBA kind of DNA inside of him already and knows what it takes. And then a guy like Dalton Connect, if he fell to 14, again, he's a wing shooter. I think that would be kind of a home run type of draft. I think there's a possibility that, a Zachary Richeche falls to, pick 7 as well. He's a 6'10 shooter from France, big wing, again, similar to the guys that Portland has valued it with that archetype. And then if maybe a guy like Tristan Da Silva is, more of the safer floor kind of guy, who's another 6'9 wing, who's a really impressive shot profile, 40% from 3, 50% in the mid-range, 80+% from the line, positive assist-to-turnover ratio. So it's just going to be a guy to fill in the gap. I think guys like that are super interesting for Portland and realistically can be part of their core. And again, like if Donovan Clingan's there, if he falls, given how the board shook out, which I think is a possibility, I think he's a guy that even though you have, 2 centers, one of them has injury questions and one of them, is always going to have kind of consistency questions, even though he finished the year pretty strong. So I think Donovan Clingan adding that winning DNA, another guy who can set screens, allow and Shaedon and Scoot to get downhill just by the fact that he's a large lob threat that sets good screens and plays defense. I think those are pretty intriguing names for Portland.
He's the founder of No Ceilings, where they cover the NBA in the draft process better than anybody else. Corey Tulaba, thank you for the time, man. Really appreciate it.
Appreciate you guys having me on.
Thanks, Corey.
There's a lot. There's a lot right there.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think he is kind of speaking Portland's language here. And when we talk about, I think a lot of people surprised that the Blazers would use 7 and 14, but when he breaks it down the way he does, it makes sense. Like, if what the Blazers are looking for is a wing that can shoot, there is a lot of variance in the draft of the boom bust kind of deal.
And Cody Williams profiles as a guy who can shoot but didn't do it on volume, while Dalton Connect was arguably the best scorer in college basketball last year.
And if you use both of those picks, you're hoping you get them in, you see what they got, one of them works out.
Look, I wouldn't be thrilled with using the 7 pick on Dalton. I think that's a little too rich because of the upside probably isn't quite necessarily there. But if he was there at 14, my eyebrows would definitely raise. I mean, look, I joked about beating the accusations. I looked at Dalton Connect's draft data. He was in like the 90th plus percentile in almost every athletic testing.
That seems good. Is that good?
Yeah.
Is that?
And I'm not talking about in this class. I'm talking about in the history of the combine. So yeah, he did well. He did really well. And again, he's the whitest white guy I'd ever whited. Like if you looked at him, you'd be like, if you're lining guys up to make picks on the basketball court, you're looking at him going, do I need a shooter? If so, yes. But you don't think of him as being that athlete. But then you watch the tape and you go, oh, this dude backpacked Tennessee's entire offense for 30 games this year. So he's going to be scaled down in the NBA, but that'd be an interesting one to take a look at.
503-864-6326. That's a Vancouver Ford text line. Gets me your feedback. And also in the YouTube chat and Twitch.tv chat at youtube.com/1080am The Fan and twitch.tv/1080am The Fan. Draft just around the corner. This is Danny and Dusty on The Fan. 838-646-3326. That's the Vancouver Ford text line. Your dollar goes further at Vancouver Ford. They treat you right before, during, and after the sale. Visit them online at vancouverford.com. We had Corey Tullivon from No Ceilings. Good stuff from him.
Yes, very
He's
good.
At the Combine, covers the draft all year round.
There's a bunch of guys there at No Ceilings. They're all really good. 4 of those guys came out for the Hoop Summit. I got to hang out and talk to those guys while they were in town, too.
Hoop Summit, really good.
Yeah.
Really good at evaluating talent.
All of us were very excited about the upcoming class. The most common thing I heard, not just from them, but of everyone that came into town for that was, God, it's so refreshing to watch what that next level talent looks like, whether it was Cooper Flagg or Ace Bailey or AJ DeBonso or Boogie Flant. Like, you're looking at this next class and you're like, 7, 8 guys in this next class will go in front of this class?
Yikes.
Oh, and then that's it. And that's just in front of SAR. Like, if you went after that, you're probably going to find a couple more guys from this next class.
And I find it interesting because I was looking at the No Ceiling stuff about their prospect list. And now this is not their draft board or how they think the draft will fall.
It's a big board.
It's their big board of just prospect rankings. And Zach Arizichet, who is widely believed to be the guy who will go number 2 overall, they have him at 5th.
So they have I want to say there's like 8 or 9 guys there. And they do a composite mock of all of their mocks, or all of their big boards. So that big board is not any single person. That's the ranking of everyone's slottings.
So they go SAR 1, Nikola Topic 2, Reed Shepard 3, Donovan Clingan 4, Zach Arizichet 5, Stefan Castle 6, Rob Dillingham 7, Matas Buzelis goes 8, Ron Holland 9, and Dalton Connect 10.
Yeah, if you look at that, both those guys and me, neither of us high on the G League Ignite guys.
No, Buzelis and Holland coming in at 8 and 9.
Yeah, the intel seems to indicate that the Pistons are probably going to. Yeah, well, the Pistons are probably going to go Buzelis
at 5.
Yeah, then that's just because of, like, you look around, it's like, should they add Donovan Clingan to their glut of bigs? No, they should not. It's like, do you want to add another guard like Reed Shepard or Rob Dillingham to Jaden Ivey and Marcus Sasser and quasi Cade Cunningham because he's a wing who's on the ball all the time? And you're like, probably not. And so you just kind of look up and down.
That was a question?
Yeah, and it's you just take a look at kind of how everything kind of shapes out for them. And they need a boomer bust guy, and there's probably no bigger boomer bust guy in that range than Buzelis. If you believe in the shooting, go down that rabbit hole. I don't necessarily believe in it, and he reminds me very much of Zach Collins when he came out, where it was like, well, he may be all of these things.
Take him at 11.
Well, and you look at him and I go, but he's done none of it.
Take him at 11.
It's like,
trade up.
He looks like he can shoot, but he hasn't really shot well. He looks like he can be good in the post, but he doesn't know how to leverage his body. He blocks shots well from the weak side. Okay, yeah. Which is, if you just take it like a 30,000-foot view, that was very much Zach Collins. Not a great rebounder, not a great shooter. Finished around the rim when he was there, but wasn't with post footwork. It was like catching lob, that kind of thing. But neither of them, both were undersized as far as strength-wise, and which you can grow into. I don't knock that, but it's Chet is 210 pounds, and we've talked about like how the long shins and how skinny he is. He knows how to leverage his skinny butt. Like you don't see him getting pushed around.
Are you saying big butts don't matter?
Look,
you don't have to be an absolute unit.
If you don't have it,
absolute unit,
you better absolutely know how to leverage.
Okay.
And that's the thing is, I've never seen Modest win a leverage battle.
Cy on the YouTube chat, he's not big on Dylan Jones, the Weber State forward, but he says Dylan Jones sucks. As a big Sky watcher, he's a big Portland State fan. What up, Cy? But I was floored 6'6" or 6'5" with a 6'11" wingspan.
He's 6'6". Yes, it was stupid long arms, and he was probably the most productive. Like Dalton Connect was probably the best scorer in college basketball. Dylan Jones was probably the most productive player in college basketball.
Okay, and I mean that also is hard to decipher because you take him out of the Big Sky, you put him into Pac-12 or Big Ten.
Yes,
How productive are you going? Are you going to be as productive as you were?
Those
then?
are the same knocks that were on Damian Lillard. But when you, and this is not just a Dame thing. This is looking across leagues and across conferences in college basketball and internationally. There are a lot of things that translate. Number one, rebounding. Rebounding is the most translatable thing across the world. If you rebound well in college or any of the top leagues in the world, you're going to rebound in the NBA. And he is a great rebounder, especially for his size.
I just want to say the one guy that I feel Portland would riot over is Reed Shepherd, because another 6'3" guard is
air quotes
6'3".
6'3". Yeah.
I don't care if he can jump 42 inches.
My man's got some bunnies.
He does. He got some bunnies.
He said he got them from dad.
Leapers.
His dad also played at Kentucky.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't think the Blazers are looking at either. I mean, they're going to evaluate everyone, and they'll take who they think is the best available.
Mhm.
I don't think they're actively looking at Reed Shepherd and Rob Dillingham.
Okay.
So
Right. Dilly.
but yeah, a guy like Dylan Jones, I'm not saying you take him with 7 or 14. I have him going 27, 28.
Okay.
Back into the first round.
We're going to talk about that
So-
coming up next hour. Danny's mock draft 1.0 is out. We'll also have the worst day on the web. But where we got to start this hour number 2 off is the world's number 1 golfer, cuffed, stuffed, and going ham on the golf course. Danny and Dusty on the Fan. Hour number 2, Danny and Dusty. Thank you for being a part of our day, letting us be a part of yours, whether it's on the Fan, 99.5 HD2, the Odyssey app, youtube.com/1080am the Fan, or twitch.tv/1080am the Fan. Thank ya, everybody. All right, we start hour number 2 of this radio show with the news of the day. Scottie Scheffler, the world's #1 golfer, green jacket winner, brand new father of a baby boy, arrested this morning on his way to Valhalla for round 2 of the PGA Championship.
There's so many things about this that seem it's just thrown together as a Mad Lib. Vancouver Ford text line. There needs to be a 30 for 30 called from the clinks to the links about this.
Yep.
And my goodness, that the lead into this. What if I told you that Scottie Scheffler was arrested in the morning and won the PGA Championship 2 days later? Or you could go full biblical and go, there was somebody else that was taken down and arrested before rising again on Sunday.
I saw that tweet. That was brutal.
Over the top, but hilarious.
It was the most confusing morning because the last person you'd probably think would be arrested on the PGA Tour or like in our professional sports world is Scottie Scheffler, who is understated, very low key, a very religious man, a guy that, and that doesn't mean that religious people don't commit crimes, but a guy who has not had any blemishes on his record or in his personal life that you'd be like, oh yeah, that's a guy who's going to get arrested. He ends up getting arrested this morning, and how it all played out is even more wild because early this morning around 5 a.m. Eastern time, so 2 a.m. our time, there was a shuttle bus that was taking volunteers and workers for Valhalla to the course. One of the workers that was not on the shuttle bus was walking on the road, and he was struck by that shuttle bus and killed. And so at that point, obviously, police shut down the road and they set up, their investigation scene of everything that happened, and it creates quite a traffic backup. When tee times start at 8:30 in the morning, at that point we're 3.5 hours from teeing off the opening rounds.
Got to get there and warm up.
Golfers are arriving even before that.
Yeah.
Because Scheffler was set to tee off at 10:08 Eastern time.
Get there, get your breakfast, get your stretches, do your mentals, then go out on the practice range and get ready to go.
Not everybody's John Daly who rips a few heaters
and it just goes out.
Has a beer or two and then goes and golfs, like all of us.
Yeah.
So, as
little hair of the dog and go.
As Scheffler was waiting in the back up of traffic, what police were doing, according to reports, is they were allowing the golfers to kind of go around the traffic backup, and as traffic, was going one way, they'd go into the opposite lane, and they would enter the Valhalla grounds. Here is where all of the confusion happens. So Scheffler was not the first golfer to be allowed to go around the traffic backup. He was in an SUV, a Lexus SUV that has PGA Championship. They put big on the driver's side door and the passenger doors. They put big branding on PGA Championship, Lexus, right? And they allow the golfers to use those courtesy cars. He was in one of those. He goes around, and they all look the same, by the way. They're all like white or black SUVs, and all the golfers are allowed to use them. He goes around, and there was a police officer by the name of Brian Gillis who was standing there telling him to stop. And as Scheffler was instructed to just go around and then go, apparently this dude held his ground and then grabbed onto his car and tried to get into the vehicle by some accounts. Other accounts are he was just trying to stop the vehicle and held on and was dragged about 10 yards at a very slow speed. Scheffler was then yanked out of the car, put in handcuffs, taken to jail, and the police report out of it is pretty wild. Pretty wild as well.
Pretty wild is the safest and cleanest way I could ever put that.
He is being charged with assault in the second degree of a police officer, which is a felony, criminal mischief of the third degree, which is a misdemeanor, reckless driving, which is a violation, and then disregard from signals from an officer directing traffic, which is also a misdemeanor crime. Here's what Detective Gillis's account via the police report is. Detective Gillis was directing traffic at Gate 1 of Valhalla Golf Course due to the road being closed in both directions from earlier fatal collision. Listed subject, that would be Scotty Scheffler, was driving eastbound to gain access to the course. Subject pulled into the westbound lanes where outbound traffic was flowing in to avoid backed up traffic. Detective Gillis was in the middle of the westbound lanes in full LMPD uniform and high visibility yellow reflective rain jacket. Detective Gillis stopped the subject and attempted to give instructions. Subject refused to comply and accelerated forward, dragging Detective Gillis to the ground. Detective Gillis suffered pain, swelling, and abrasions to his left wrist and knee. He was transported to the hospital for further medical treatment by emergency medical personnel. Detective Gillis's uniform pants, valued at approximately $80, were damaged beyond repair.
I love the price of the pants being thrown in there. That's because that's a petty officer writing that into the additional report, because there are 2 additional reports on the scene, actual reporters who saw this transpire. And it pretty much contradicts everything that happened there with how this whole thing was handled, because this paints Detective Willis in the brightest of lights. Just doing his job, clearly out in the middle of the road, risking his life in his high-vis jacket early in the morning, and an unruly man in an SUV just barreled right on through. No, the reporting from 2 other individuals, Jeff Darlington and I'm forgetting the
Dave Fleming.
Dave Fleming both said, no, Scotty Scheffler went around traffic, came around the outside, stopped for the officer, slowly let the 1 mile an hour walk and talk, hey dog, told me up back, the other cops back there told me I could go through. The cop was heated, reached in and grabbed Scheffler, and that's when he got drug.
Yeah.
And by got drug, wouldn't let go of the guy. Was like, no, dude, your bro already told me I got to go in. I'm going in.
Now, could Scheffler have just stopped and talked to him? Probably.
But it also sounds like this cop was being an absolute a-hole.
It does sound like that.
Right out of the gate.
By multiple accounts. Was Scotty Scheffler perfect in this? No. But he was actually told by other police officers, no, just go up and continue up, go in the opposite lane of traffic, go up and make the turn into Gate 1. Yeah. That's what you're supposed to do. That's what the other golfers are doing. Go ahead and do it. And the police report saying he accelerated, it makes it sound like he punched it.
Took off. No, he didn't.
He did not. It was not anything close to that from any account.
Any other account.
Except for that one.
Yes.
That's the only account. So this is where Scheffler gets arrested. 6:01 a.m.
Booked, thrown in orange, full mugshot, and this is petty, childish cop crap.
Now, here is Jeff Darlington on the Scheffler arrest.
Obviously, this is something that we just witnessed, and we're essentially trying to explain what it is that we saw. This is not what we're being told. This is what we saw. So there was a bus that was essentially waiting to enter the property. Traffic was backed up miles because we were told by police officers there was a pedestrian fatality. Police officers also instructed us that the only people that were allowed to enter Valhalla Golf Club were players. We were then positioned second in line to enter Valhalla Golf Club behind a bus that did not have a driver in the driver's seat. Police officers were trying to attempt to figure out why that bus was still sitting there at the entrance, not moving. We were waiting behind that car. Scheffler's car, did not know it was Scheffler's car at the time. It was marked as an official vehicle of the PGA Championship. It had that marking on the side. He was the only person in the vehicle. He was driving the vehicle. He attempted to pull around into the shoulder, which was a wide shoulder. It was not off-road by any means. He pulled his car around at that point That's when the police officer told him he needed to stop. I shouldn't assume anything. It seemed as if he said something to the police officer and then continued to go. He went again about 10 yards before the police officer then started to bang on his vehicle, yell obscenities. Eventually, when Scheffler lowered the window, the police officer grabbed his arm and started to pull it out of the vehicle.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
That sounds wildly different than somebody getting dragged after somebody accelerated away with them hanging on to the edge of the vehicle.
So he goes to jail, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Gets cuffed, stuffed, booked, mugshots are out, and then by 8:40, he is released from jail. That is coincidentally right when tee time started at the PGA Championship. Is like the exact time that he gets released without bail, and he shows up at Valhalla. Okay.
And next to play from Texas, Scotty Scheffler.
Made the tee time. Piped it down the middle.
How many
Birdies
people
won.
do you think are there that know exactly what happened?
All of them. All of them. And I say this because Scotty Scheffler went out on the course and he fired a 5 under 66 and is now 9 under par. He shot a 67 yesterday, so he was one shot better today than he was yesterday. And I know that a lot of people knew because as he was exiting the 18th green, which was actually 9 because he started on the back 9 today. When he was exiting his 18th hole and heading back up to the clubhouse, there were fans waiting for a high five, which he obliged, wearing a T-shirt with his mugshot picture
Already made
on it. Already made.
Wow.
Already made. So, I mean, that news was definitely
God,
out there.
How are you getting on the course with that quickly?
The internet, man.
That's incredible.
The internet is a hell of a thing. So Scheffler goes out, he plays well, and unlike a lot of athletes, which I think would have just said, no, thank you, I'm out. I'm not doing media after Jamal Murray or Caitlin Clark last night, even, which we talked about earlier. Scotty Scheffler took the podium, and at the beginning of the show, while he was still working the course, I think he was on 15 when we started, I said, I wonder if he was like taking practice swings in the cell as he was waiting to get out. And I'll be damned, he addressed it.
I feel like my head's still spinning. I can't really explain what happened this morning. I did spend some time stretching in a jail cell. That was a first for me. That was part of my warm-up. I was just sitting there waiting, and I started going through my warm-up. I felt like there was a chance I may be able to still come out here and play, and so I started going through my routine. I tried to get my heart rate down as much as I could today, but like I said, I still feel like my head's spinning a little bit. But I was fortunate to be able to make it back out and play some golf today.
Wow. I mean, I can't. And that tells me that what he was told, whether it be by police on the way over there, on the way to the police station, or immediately, boom, it was like lawyered up, ready to go. His representation was like, you're going to get out. You're going to make your tee time.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be ready,
Because,
right?
look, I have a reeling suspicion every single one of these charges is going to be dropped.
Yeah.
Every single one of them.
I don't know. I have no idea how this is going to work out, but does not seem like all of the accounts outside of the one from the police officer seem to paint a far different picture.
I wonder if there's body cameras on, because if there is, they're getting pulled right now. And if it matches what 2 other ESPN reporters who are within, arm's reach said, as opposed to what the officer said,
it's pretty interesting, to say the least.
I mean, when you've got 2 reporters who were on scene, literally watching this unfold, and it does not match what the officer stated,
who were sitting literally right there. They were in the backed up traffic.
Darlington has got video of
Yeah.
Scheffler being arrested.
Yeah, and apparently
One cop stepped in to stop him.
And yeah, but the police officer. I heard a thing from Darlington where they asked like, who is this guy? Which that doesn't change their job at all. Like they're just
Well, no, it changes what should have happened.
They're sitting there like, oh, okay.
Yeah, you just stopped the
world's
golfer,
number one golfer,
the world's
or-
number one golfer going into the golf course
or-
he's playing golf at.
And it's amazing that this does happen to Scotty Scheffler, who is the world's number one golfer, just won the last major a few weeks ago, or over a month ago. And if it was just a random golfer, right?
It's still a funny story.
The story wouldn't change, and the accounts from Darlington
No,
or,
it's still the same.
or Fleming would be the same. It was just the magnitude of it rises so much more.
When it's the number one.
And Scheffler, in his press conference, he addressed the weirdness of seeing yourself on TV after your round in jail.
I didn't really know. I was just so confused at what was happening at the time that, I didn't know what time it was. I didn't know what was going on. But when I was sitting in like the holding cell or whatever, there was a TV there and I could see myself on the TV on ESPN, and it was Get Up was on. And so in the corner, it showed the time and it said they were delayed. And I was kind of thinking about my tee time. I was like, well, maybe, I could be able to get out. The officers downstairs had, they were discussing how long it was going to take me to get released. Obviously you have to go through all the due process and everything. And, I was able to kind of see a bit of the TV, and, then I laid down and then I started to stretch a little bit once I got my heart rate down a little bit.
He's like, whoa.
The fact that he wasn't pissed to the 1,000th degree is so impressive.
I think he is, but I think that goes to the being able to compartmentalize
The
everything that's
sociopathic
happening.
tendencies.
That's everything that's happening, right? And look, it also goes to probably some of the police officers that he was talking to as he was either being arrested, in the car ride to the jail, where he's probably asking like, what is going on? Like what's
You think anybody
happening
asked
here?
for a selfie?
No.
Science-
But yes, probably.
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 Because
Oh,
there's a
man.
cop in there who's going, you did what to who? He's like, I got money on him.
Probably. Well, he is sitting third right now, tied for third. It is the second best round of the day so far at Valhalla. It is a 5 under 66 that Scotty Scheffler shot. That's incredible. Colin Morikawa went 6 under 65 today. He's in the lead.
It was a tweet either from the mayor of Louisville or the governor of Kentucky put out right before the tournament started, like, hey, we're back in Kentucky again with the PGA Championship. Let's show them what Louisville's all about.
The hospitality.
The hospitality, yeah.
Yeah, I believe it was the governor.
Yeah,
It was
it's
the
just
governor,
like,
yeah.
well, I wonder if this tournament's ever going to be back there.
Yeah. I mean, it will. It's just, again, we said this at the onset. Like, one thing that is lost on all of the ridiculousness about this is that the reason why any of this happened,
Somebody died.
Somebody died.
Yeah.
Like somebody died going to volunteer at the PGA Championship, which is
Insane.
absolutely, it's mind numbing.
Yeah.
Like you just you're like, whoa, oh my god. But it's Scotty Scheffler is now in the clubhouse, and it may not have affected him as much today. I wonder if maybe it does tomorrow.
Linger on.
Yeah, because like there's this thing where in the moment you're just like singularly focused on getting back and going and golfing or whatever.
Mhm.
And then maybe some of this kind of settles in and maybe it rattles him today or tonight after everything happens. If he comes out tomorrow and shoots
Just
like
nails.
a 61, you're like, oh my
Arrest this
God,
guy every weekend.
what is going on with him?
Now-
And then that kind of tells you what his thought process is about the severity of what happened.
Yeah, on Vancouver text line, somebody mentioned this is a detective that's clearly pissed off because he's having to pull traffic duty, and that's something that actually did go across my mind, because it is a detective that is out there pulling traffic duty at 6:00 in the morning in the rain, probably not in the best of moods.
Probably not.
Probably not in the best of moods.
Probably not.
Because he's holding it down until Snuffy McSnufflepants gets down there and takes over traffic duty, and he probably does the scene investigation.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
If you
and this isn't
that's not to excuse him at all. It's kind of paints the frame of mind of what I anticipate was probably going on.
Let's get to some of your texts on the Vancouver Ford text line 503-864-6326, because here's one that I noticed too, but I think it does. It's like, what in the world? Next on the Fan. Text line 503-864-6326. I thought this same thing too, and it's pretty fascinating. He sounded amazingly composed compared to the majority of athletes after an arrest.
I think you could just say majority of anyone after an arrest.
Yeah.
Getting arrested is not a fun thing.
No, not for anybody.
No.
That was he was just like, yeah, well, it was stretched in the cell. That's a first. Like, yeah, I think that's a first for anybody. Like even John Daly. Like he didn't do it because nobody's been arrested on the way to the golf tournament.
I spent a weekend in jail with a serial killer.
Nice.
It's the most terrifying thing in my entire life. I didn't sleep. I don't know how you get put in that situation there and go, huh? And then just go out and play golf.
And this texture is on kind of where the police were, where they asked Darlington what they're like, who is this guy or whatever. He says, honestly, I have no effing clue who Scotty Scheffler is and no idea what he looks like. If someone told me they were the number one golfer in the world, I would not have believed them. It's like somebody else is just like, hey, I'm the number one golfer in the world. Yeah, sure, buddy. Respect my authority. Nope.
It doesn't make any sense. Like, it just.
What if it's all a ruse by Scotty Scheffler? What if Scotty Scheffler plays the nice guy, but he was a complete a-hole?
That would be an incredible turn of events.
That would be quite the twist.
Considering everyone on the tour talks about how nice of a guy he is, and
yeah,
because like
how genuine he is.
Yeah,
and
that's
all
things
that,
like because when you're not, like, does anybody secretly be like, Bryson's really a good dude, or Brooksy's really a great guy that everyone loves?
No, Patrick Reed is misunderstood.
No, if they think you're an a-hole, they absolutely tell everyone they think you're an a-hole.
Yeah.
Like, that's just how this goes. They're not secret. Like, you know what? We really like Scotty, so we're just going to cover up from the fact that everyone else actually hates him.
Yeah.
No, he's just a really nice guy. Low-key, chill, like.
Went to a dive bar after he won his green jacket.
Yeah, just an everyman, just chill dude.
Yeah. This is
the most insane, like, combination of events. Robert Griffin III tweeted out this morning, has anything ever like this ever happened before, like in sports? And people like replied with different things, and I'm like, none of them matched, but somebody did go, well, Tiger Woods' wife did chase him down with a golf club after scrolling through his phone after he blacked out on Ambien.
Whoa. His burner phone. She scrolled through the burner, okay?
Found a mistress and chased him with a golf club. But that wasn't on, like, before the tee time.
No, that was on the Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Tiger. Well, I think
this is insane.
I think the correlation there is Tiger made amends with that tree at the Masters when he shook hands with the tree, and that he ran into getting away from his wife. I think that's where the crossover actually the story does come back to. Golf is he shook hands with that tree at the Masters.
I hate you guys in the next line.
He made amends for it.
The funny part of Danny's jail story is he was alone in the cell.
Yeah, talking to himself, trading stories with the serial
The serial
killer.
killer probably got out some ideas from Danny.
Mm-hmm.
I joke about it. It is still the level of creepiness I cannot quantify.
Yeah.
In that, like, I put my back against the wall and stayed awake for like 25 hours, 26 hours, something like that.
I'm just
freaked out.
I just tried to avoid jail for that reason.
Trust me. Wish I would have.
Yeah, I
Spent
know.
that 6 months fighting charges that all got dropped. It's miserable. If I can afford it, I'm sure as hell Scotty Scheffler can.
Yeah, he lawyered up. He went big time Louisville lawyer.
I'm sure he's got some experience with the good old boys.
Yes. I would guess he probably does. I guess he probably does.
All right, coming up next, it is time for our worst day on the web. And, well, the cops not having a great day.
This one is more bonkers than the Scotty Scheffler story.
But first, here's the Big Kahuna with Sports Center Update.
You ever had a Big Kahuna burger?
This is a PGA Championship Week edition of Danny and Dusty.
Brought to you by Langdon Farms Golf Club.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
This update brought to you by A&E Plumbing, Heating, and Air, serving Portland, Southwest Washington, and the Gorge. Online at aneheatingandcooling.com. It's hard to stop a train. First on The Fan, plenty of drama surrounding the PGA Championship ahead of the weekend as world number one Scotty Scheffler arrested by Louisville Metro Police this morning attempting to enter Valhalla Golf Club. This while trying to avoid traffic stemming from a pedestrian fatality involving a shuttle bus. The start of round two was delayed due to the accident. Scheffler returned and played his second round, shooting a 5 under 66, leaving him at 9 under overall. That is 2 strokes off the pace set by Colin Morikawa, who is 11 under after a 6 under 65 today. He's 1 stroke clear of Xander Schauffele. Alongside Scheffler at 9 under par are Mark Hubbard and Thomas Dietrich. In the NBA playoffs, the Pacers hosting the Knicks, looking to extend the series to a Sunday Game 7 at Madison Square Garden. OG Anunoby out for New York as he continues to deal with a hamstring injury. Tip at 5:30 on ESPN. The Pacers are 5.5-point favorites. The Mariners kick off a 10-game road trip with 3 at the Orioles. Bryce Miller starting for Seattle. John Means for Baltimore. 4:05 first pitch on Root Sports. Mariners hold a 1.5 game lead over the Rangers for the AL West lead. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
It's back. The 10th annual Fan Golf Classic at Langdon Farms Golf Club happens Thursday, July 11th. Presented by Autotown GMC. Reserve your foursome now at 1080thefan.com. Championship Week edition of Danny and Dusty.
Brought to you by Langdon Farms Golf Club.
On 1080 The Fan. It's time for today's worst day on the web. With Danny and Dusty on Odyssey and 1080 The Fan.
Well, that sucks.
Going north above the border today, ladies and gentlemen.
Ooh.
To Saskatoon.
Oh, Saskatchewan, eh?
It actually is Saskatoon. That's what makes this so great.
Mm-hmm.
In Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, a Canadian driver got a ticket for using a McDonald's app in the McDonald's drive-thru.
Yeah, because he was operating an electronic device while operating a vehicle.
And in case you're wondering, yes, it was a motorcycle cop. Which, if you've ever had any kind of, I'm not anti-cop. I've got a lot of friends who were actually cops, and they're great dudes, and I love them. I trust them. They've been employed for a very long time, and are still employed because they're good cops. I've never been a motorcycle cop that I didn't want to throw off a bridge.
Wow. I can't say I've had very many interactions, but I have had a negative interaction with a motorcycle officer.
It attracts a certain type.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah. Tried to pop me for jaywalking.
My point exactly.
Jaywalking.
When I was in high school, there was an infamous Beaverton motorcycle cop that would stop people along a
You
like
know
a
who already I'm
street
talking
bypass.
about. Yep.
Infamous for giving tickets for doing 28 into 25.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
My one and only ticket.
Gladstone had one of those too.
My one and
He was
only
he was
ticket
he
on
was a
Watson.
motorcycle cop, and he would hide and he'd pop out and he got people left and right.
Yep.
Well, this young man says that he was in the parking lot of the McDonald's, popped open his phone, and tried to redeem his free meal.
You know, the thing you do when you go
Via
through
the
the
app.
drive-through.
Well, and here's the thing. I don't think this kid is playing chess yet. He's still playing checkers. If he's playing chess with this thing, this has got to be on show some culpability for McDonald's as well. It's like, if I can get a ticket for using your app
Your mobile
in your
app.
drive-through, that everything has to go through the app now. Like at all the fast food places,
Make
like,
sure you
gotta
have
get
your app open.
for all of your redeemable awards that you can get via the app. Then you sit there and you spin this back on Mickey D's.
It's like McDonald's making the coffee too hot.
Yes. I mean, I think it is ridiculous. Like, you go to a McDonald's now and nobody is in line, and you go up to order and they're like, well, it's going to be like a 15-minute wait because the mobile app. And you're like, what about it? They're like, well, we have back orders on it and mobile app gets priority. And you're like, I am here.
Yeah.
Right now.
Right now.
There's like 8 bags of those mobile app orders that have not been picked up yet. You know, like, it drives me bonkers.
You're taking the fast out of fast food.
Yeah. Yeah, like, what do you want me to do here?
Very strange.
I am here right now. But this cop to do this, or this police officer to do this to a young man, and they're saying he was in the public roadway, is where they're getting him. He opened his phone in the public roadway. He was in the parking lot, and we all know how this is, right? You were in the parking lot. You're approaching the ordering board. Okay, you've got to get if you're going to use the app, you got to get the app open, right? Where else is he supposed to do this? Where is this supposed to happen?
YouTube comment, but was he told to stop using the app in the drive-thru?
That's right.
I mean, look, man, at some point in time, the common sense has got to come through here. Either this cop had been following him and looking to ticket him for something, which, what an a-hole, or he's just in general a terrible human being and a terrible officer. Because what are you doing there that is protecting, enforcing, enriching, doing anything of any nature other than garnering tax revenue?
Well, I mean, he is enriching
someone's
that aspect
pockets
of it. Sure. Yeah. Maybe he just wanted his Egg McMuffin a little bit faster. I don't know.
Well, it's take a little bit longer. He's got to write that ticket.
Maybe he wanted a quarter pounder, and this kid was taking too long to get through.
Or
his
you know what? It wasn't quite lunchtime yet.
No, he didn't have. He was hangry.
You got there too early.
See, there
so
we
you
go.
had some time to kill.
Everybody gets hangry.
So when you have time to kill, you just make something up. Also,
he didn't make it up. This kid
also, can you ticket somebody on private property?
Well, that's what they're saying, is that it was technically a public roadway.
It's Canada.
Because it was a parking lot. I don't know.
Yeah,
and they said
nobody owns anything in Canada because it's Canada.
Oh, okay. This young man worried about the points on his driving record.
Yeah,
for his insurance.
that's a thing in Canada too.
Well, I say nuts to that. You should be spinning this towards McDonald's.
Get them the little
again.
Hey, if nothing else, get them to give you the big shiny legal team.
Look, this kid is he's playing this the right way at the beginning, because we're talking about this in Portland, Oregon. An 18-year-old gets a ticket for using his cell phone in a McDonald's drive-thru in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada, on his way to his curling practice, maybe.
Probably.
Hockey, lacrosse, I don't know. But he gets this ticket, and we're talking about it because I feel this is unjust. This is unjust. And I thought I think higher of the Mounted Royal Canadian Police, or whatever they're called. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police. I think they're wrong. And give me Dudley Do-Right on a horse, not this officer on a motorcycle.
Not David Do Wrong.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I want Dudley Do Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Not David Do Wrong.
This is just the dumbest possible outcome of any situation. This is the kind of thing where I hate litigious societies.
Yeah.
But this is the kind of thing where I hope it would happen in somewhere in the States and somebody just absolutely slammed that officer in that police department with the biggest lawsuit known to man.
Yeah.
Just go get every rights group out there as far as that world goes. Be like, hey, here's this little abuse of power. Have fun with this one.
So this texture says this is why In-N-Out is superior. Well, there's a lot of reasons why In-N-Out is superior to McDonald's.
Yes, it's cheaper, it's better,
Yeah.
quicker.
And they don't have an app.
Yeah. And the service is
how many
unmatched.
apps do you have
for food?
For food.
Other than the food delivery ones, which
Yeah.
I've taken those off my phone, I think
I'm trying to go through this here.
I have them all in one, so 2.
You've got 2?
3 if you count a reservation. I've got Open Table. But yeah, and the other one's not even updated. Chipotle is the only one still there.
All right.
Chipotle is the only other one that I have.
I'm up to 4. I have 4, and I feel like that's too much. I'm giving away all of my information. I let them just follow me everywhere. and
Here's
do
the thing.
anything.
Like,
if
everybody
they're-
asks me about that part of stuff, and I'm like, buddy, I did a top secret security clearance that I had to maintain for 8 years that I'm not kidding is probably
Which is also terrifying that you were allowed that.
4.5 inches thick worth of paperwork. They have talked to my old coaches, my high school teachers, my college teachers, friends and family member, former employers. They know everything about me. I don't care.
They're going to be very disappointed if they're tracking me. But I'm just saying all of the cookies and stuff like that. They're just collecting all the data of where you go and all that stuff. Look, have at it, but don't slow my phone down. And that's what I'm talking
don't
about.
throttle you?
That is where I take issue with all of these apps. And I've been on a app deleting binge recently because I'm like, don't slow my phone down. Don't force me to buy extra storage on or at my Apple store or whatever it is. I don't want that. That's what bothers me.
I'm going to tell on myself here. I just counted the food apps on my phone, not counting like the DoorDash and such.
Oh, can we over under it? Can I over under it?
Yeah.
6.5?
No. I'm going 12.5.
Double it.
No! 24?
25.
25?
Holy crap.
You're at 25?
So the thing is, you've probably done like the order one time and you add the app to your phone kind of deal, right?
Yeah. There's a couple of those are that.
Because I had a burger spot that I went to one time and they had like a really nice app. And I was like, oh, cool. But we just haven't been back there. But the app was on my phone for like 2 months. And I'm like, I don't go there often enough to use this. Boop. And got it off the but they just want all your data.
Wow.
Yeah. I did include one of those I included, and there was Dutch Brothers, though. Does that count as a food
Yes.
app?
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah.
Not bad.
There's a lot.
That's actually kind of impressive.
I'm not even mad. I'm impressed. A whole wheel of cheese.
Oh, wait. I missed one. 26.
Oh, there you go.
How often do you use them?
Well, there's like the McDonald's one on here. I use that every time.
Yep.
Because I order ahead.
And I'm sure you've got pizza ones on there.
Oh, yeah.
Monster.
There's Papa Murphy's. There's Round Table. There's Little Caesars. There's Pizza Hut. There's Papa John's.
I knew the pizza one was going to have multiples.
Yeah. Oh, and Mod Pizza.
There you go.
Yep. Got the McDonald's, little Burger King, some Wendy's, Burgerville, Dairy Queen, Domino's.
Now, do you keep them all together?
Yes.
You keep them all together in one nifty little place.
They don't fit all on one screen.
He's got to scroll within the
I had to go to a
tab.
second screen.
You've got 3. You've got 3 scrolls.
No, it's just one swipe, 2 screens.
Oh, you didn't put him in the cell.
No.
He doesn't have that. He's an animal. and
Oh, that's
he's
right.
an
You're the one who
android.
makes us the green bubble.
Oh, no. We have, I can do cells.
But you still don't do that.
No.
Oh, God. You and my wife. What every freaking app showing on the main page. Just so much clutter.
Look at that. Who said Who said the older generation can't keep up with technology? Here's a Gen Xer over there who is up with the times on all of his food apps.
Get off my porch.
Golly, you went 6. I went 12, and it was double that.
Well, what are you gonna do?
I can't believe you. Golly.
25. It's a good number.
I am in awe of you right now.
26. My mistake.
I can't get over this. 26 apps for food. No wonder it took you so long to chime in.
I was over there counting.
We
ran out of fingers
we
and
moved
toes.
we moved on to a completely different topic, and then Russ chimes back in with, you guys want to know how many I have? I was like, what?
Well, look,
yeah, I'm interested in it.
I've only got so many fingers and toes over here, so I had to go slow.
Gotta go find some pens to put them down the table.
He's doing tick marks over there. He's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like it's notches on a bedpost. My God.
Rufio texted and he says 25. I guess Rust doesn't cook.
Oh, yeah. Golly.
Oh God. That's
Wow.
I'm impressed.
Yeah, a couple of those are one-timers, but
I hope. Goodness, 26.
I mean, do they count towards your number if it's just one time?
Rust, you could almost eat everywhere for an entire month and use a different food app. You could go to somewhere new every day for a month. And you're like, February, you need 2 more apps and you could just, February's done. Like, you got it. This is mind-boggling.
Unreal.
Wow.
We're going to unpack this at some point in time.
I think we have.
Okay.
I think this is, I just want to know what you don't use an app
One
for.
of these times we're going to have to do like the Jeff Rust challenge, where you just you go through the app each day.
We ain't about that life.
No?
We ain't about that life. I would love to, though.
Be fun. I'd like it.
I bet it's quality food that you got on there.
Absolutely.
yeah. Like I said, I got Burgerville on there.
Okay.
Quality.
That's quality.
There you go.
That is. I mean, after you said Little Caesars is on there, like, you have to nudge it up a little bit.
Look, sometimes you need some cheap pizza.
I need the definitive rankings of Jeff Rust food apps, though.
There you go.
Which ones? Now you have to
Might
take.
have to bring back Tears Day.
Yeah, you have to have your. That is way too many tiers. I mean, because it's not just food quality, but it's quality and ease of use of app too.
Yeah, see,
You
like
know?
the round table app.
That's the thing that
sucks.
matters is how good the
Yeah.
app is.
Yeah. Which the worst app, like known to man right now, ESPN's app. It is the worst
Always
app
has been. Makes you sign in every freaking time.
every time.
Oh, and even when I'm signed in, I can't beam it to my damn TV.
No, it's so dumb. For
That would've-
being,
Fox
being under
Sports
the
too.
yeah, well, yes. Well, I mean, sports apps in general, most of them suck. But for ESPN being under the Mickey Mouse umbrella and sucking that much on the app side, it's staggering.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make any sense.
I mean,
You
good
know,
thing you don't have to order food from it.
It's true. Speaking of not making any sense, should we check in at Clemson and how they're doing in the transfer portal?
Yeah.
Not a lot of sense being made there. We'll get to that and more coming up here on Danny and Dusty tonight. The Fan 20. Quick little hot route. Paul Skeens out there doing his thing for the Pittsburgh Pirates yet again. He made his debut this weekend. Back out on the mound for his second professional appearance. And, he just mowed down the Cubs.
Yeah, he went up from 84 in his debut where he only made it through 4. And they let him throw 100 pitches today.
A whole hundo.
And rightfully so, when he goes 6 complete, 11 strikeouts, no runs, no hits,
and a single walk.
Holy bejeebers.
He figured out the whole pitch sequencing thing.
Yeah, he said, I need to figure out how to sequence my pitches a little bit better, find a rhythm. That chicken Alfredo in Chicago must have hit.
I bet you.
I mean, he is in Chicago. He says he eats his chicken Alfredo before every game. It worked. And can we talk about how early that chicken Alfredo had to be eaten for Paul Skeens? This was a noon first pitch.
That's a little 10 o'clock chicken Alfredo.
I bet breakfast Alfredo.
I bet that's like a 9 a.m. chicken Alfredo. When you start 10 a.m., he's going through routines at that point. I mean, he's
probably just going through long toss, man.
A little breakfast Alfredo going on.
You know,
you don't want, because here's the thing: you can't eat it too close to first pitch because it's got to work its way through. Like if that thing is going to give you the old bubble guts, you got to make sure you get that enough time. You don't want to be.
I think he has the
rolling out there in your gray and brown trousers. You just want those to be the grays.
I think his stomach probably is in the same line of mine in that. He's probably able to steel trap that pretty well.
Oof. If you're an Alfredo joint near Wrigleyville, I mean, you got to be careful if you're Skeens. You know,
I'm just saying. Yeah,
I wouldn't put it past Cub fans.
No, hit him with the Michael Jordan flu.
Yeah, a little bit of bubble guts there, huh? A little
don't
eye drops in there.
You can't let them know what you eat before games. All of a sudden, the Alfredo around you could be tainted.
Yeah.
Tainted chicken.
I like how you
good.
called Michael Jordan like food poisoning. Nobody bought that from The Last Dance. There wasn't a single person that was like, yeah, we believe you, Mike.
Definitely wasn't the fact that you were probably blackout drunk.
Yeah, because other people have said they played poker with you till 4 a.m. that night.
Have you heard the Mark Jackson story?
No.
Mark Jackson, when he was with the Knicks, was out for a game. And the Bulls were in town in New York, and Jackson and Jordan were friends. Jordan calls Jackson over to play cards. Notoriously huge, both of them huge gamblers. And Jackson says, I'm out. So my mission is I want to keep Mike up all night. They play cards until 8 a.m. Shoot around is at 10. Jackson's not playing, but he goes through shoot around and just kind of like goes, oh, okay, I'm fine. He goes, I'm sitting on the bench. I'm dying. He's like, there's no way. Even if I was healthy, I couldn't play. Mike gave us 50.
Yeah.
What?
Trained that way, you know?
Just built different.
It's part of the routine for Mike. It was his Jordan's routine.
And
Stay up till 8 and play
Skeens,
cards.
Listen, man. Do they go light in LSU?
Just iron gut.
Look, man, if there is a sports team in this country that I trust to be absolutely canned all the time, it is every athletic department at LSU.
Yeah, that's fair. That is very fair. What a pivot from Mark Jackson too, from going till staying up playing poker till 8 a.m. to alienating your star player in Steph Curry by forcing him to go to church and faith healing his injured ankle.
Yes,
and preaching on the street corners in Los Angeles.
Things change.
He has that is quite the pivot that he has made. I mean, he's not like a bona fide preacher.
Yeah. Stuff happens.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
People don't forget.
No.
All right, coming up next year in hour number 3, ladies and gentlemen, we'll pivot back to the NBA, take a look at some mock draft as well as another pivotal game in the NBA. Danny Dusty, Danny the Fan. Hour number 3 on a Friday on Danny and Dusty. Little reminder that Autotown GMC is presenting the 10th annual Fan Golf Classic at Langdon Farms Golf Club. It happens Thursday, July 11th, and you can choose from a morning or afternoon round. The tournament is already more than halfway sold out.
Whoa!
Already more than halfway sold out.
Let's go! Sign up.
If you sign up today, we'll see if we can find out. Maybe there'll be some fun cops we can have arrest you and see if we can. No. Okay. Give the winner gets a full Scotty Scheffler experience.
No.
We're not going to lock somebody in like a tool shed.
We got to find police men and women around here.
We do. I'm saying
They're
that's what I'm saying. They could replicate it for you.
We can have a holding cell at the Van Golf Classic.
Not the worst thing we've ever done.
I mean, some people would probably need to be in there.
Probably not a bad idea.
Team Go Booze.
But
I'm looking at you.
Reminder, the tournament is already halfway sold out. It is still almost 2 months away. Okay, today is the 17th. It is July 11th.
Yeah, less than 2 months. We're less than 2 months away.
So we are 7 weeks away, and it's already halfway sold out.
Yeah,
so
there we go.
Do the math. It's going to fill up. Get your foursomes in now. Why? Because Matt's Barbecue is back to serve their award-winning food, as well as the usual array of craft beverages will be in effect. You can get out on the Michelob Ultra driving range, where you can not get arrested. Hey, don't do the top sounds, because you won't get arrested for hitting balls at swag.
Yeah, that's right.
It's totally legal.
Totally
in fact,
legal.
encouraged.
Yes.
Not even in the fine print. Go do it. All the shows will be broadcasting live. Dirt and Sprague, Dusty and I, Isaac and Souk, and then we will take turns swapping out. Let's be honest, we're going to spend a lot of time out on the par 3-6, brought to you by Doers. Having some drinks, chilling in the sun, and I don't know, we'll figure something else out there.
Yes.
We'll figure something out.
It'll be a good time.
It'll be a good time. Go to 1080thefan.com to sign up your foursome right meow. Meow.
Get it.
Do it now. Not now. Listen now. Stay listening to us, but then do it in the commercial break. Wait, no. Do it then too.
Listen to me now and believe me later.
Remember sometime soon.
Yeah, there you go. I like that. Well, sometime soon is tonight for the Indiana Pacers down 3-2. It is win or go home, but they're already home.
Win or stay home.
Win or stay home.
Yeah,
win or stay home.
In the house that Caitlin built.
Yeah, exactly. The Indiana Pacers taking on the New York Knicks down 3-2. They need to win tonight to push it back to the Mecca. Do they get it done?
I think they do, just the way the series has kind of gone.
Because it's not been competitive.
And you need another heroic performance from Jalen Brunson, which he has been giving heroic performances left and right in this series. When you look at wins compared to losses, the dude is it's not just that he's putting up a buttload of points. It's the efficiency with which he's doing it, right? When they win, it is 44 points on 54% shooting, 32 on 61% shooting, 43 on 51% shooting. When they lose, 31 on 35, 38 on 38%. It takes this Herculean effort to drag them to wins, and both of the times that he has been inefficient has been when they are on the road.
Because they're shorthanded. That's just the nature of that beast.
And you feed off the energy of Madison Square Garden. The role players in Indiana play far better when they're at
role players
home
always play better at home
than the road, and so do the New York Knicks too. That's why I think we probably do see a Game 6 or Game 7 in this one. And I would love it if we had 2 Game 7s in the conference semis, because we're guaranteed one. And I think we're going to get another in this series. I'm really interested to see kind of what we see this weekend as well with the Thunder and the Mavericks, because Dallas can close out at home tomorrow as well. And we may have 3 Game 7s.
Which would be absolutely awesome. The Celtics are sitting there going, "Yeah, go ahead and take your time, guys.
And beat the hell out of each other.
Go ahead. We're good with this, because they're not that beat up. But if they want to win a title, they need Porzingis.
Have we gotten a Porzingis update? Like, I have been.
Yes, there was a quasi update 2 days ago of like he's been evaluated. It's going to be basically another week. Which
he's trending in the right direction.
We all know.
No setbacks.
Look, he's not going to be there until the back end of the Eastern Conference Finals.
Optimistically,
yes.
Yeah,
he is a 7'3" human who with a lower body injury. Like, that's just, he's missing a month. That's just the way it's gonna go.
With a steep injury history too. It's like Kristaps Porzingis and injuries, they go
Especially lower
hand in
body.
hand.
And that was the thing. I'm trying to remember the exact number. It was either 15 or 16. A buddy of mine who was covering the Mavs told me that he suffered, Porzingis, not the guy who covered him, suffered 15 or 16 separate lower body injuries in his time in Dallas.
Jeez,
he's just too big. Like Wemby being a guy who's really never had injuries is such a freak occurrence, but Porzingis is, even though he's skinny, is what we often see at that size. You just pick up just dings and nicks all over the place.
And so Monday will be 3 weeks to the day of the injury.
Yeah, and again, I think it'll be probably another week from that.
And if we get a Game 7 in this series, it will be
push things out till Tuesday. I think will be when the conference finals would start.
Okay, and so that would be just a hair over 3 weeks, and then you are looking at
probably game 4 or 5 of the earliest possible return,
because they're going to stagger them, give you 2 days off,
minimum 2 days off between games, and it's 3 days in travel days. So you get 2 days off between games in the conference finals, and then 3 if it's a travel day. So, yeah.
So
game 4 would probably be the earliest we can.
They're gonna go Pacers Knicks and just give them 1 day off, and then they're hitting the road to go.
I guess it would push it to Wednesday.
To Boston.
Then, so
they're gonna probably because game 7 would be on Sunday if the Knicks and Pacers play.
Yeah. I didn't think about that. So yeah, it'll probably be Wednesday.
They'll play Wednesday, which is advantageous for. But every day will matter in that.
Yes,
you
want to just push that out a little bit further, a little bit further, a little bit further. You get to a month of rest and rehab for Porzingis, barring anything.
It says here Tuesday for the Eastern Conference Finals.
That's what
game
I thought.
1.
So they are only going to give him the day. Wow, that's tough.
Yikes. Meanwhile, the West, they get the later start because the Game 7 in the Mavs Thunder series would be on Monday,
which would push that to Wednesday.
Yeah. Whoa, that is huge. But today, look, I understand there will be a sense of urgency. Again, the way that the series has gone with the blowouts, I don't mind it because we kind of saw it last night in that Denver, Minnesota game where I don't mind it if a coach sees that this game is getting away from them. And it's not their night. They just go boop out. We're done. We're not. What's the point of pushing these guys?
Well, you saw it last night with Denver and
that's what I'm saying.
Minnesota.
Yeah, I'm saying we saw it with Denver and Minnesota. Is that you don't want to have that situation where, and we've seen it throughout this Knicks Pacers series, whether it's Carlisle or Tibbs, right? Just saying. And for Tibbs, it's like we're only going to play him 35 minutes, not 44 minutes, which is a big difference in the way they approach games.
This series has been so weird and the game's really not that competitive. I don't really know which way to go with this. I just don't. I have been wrong up, down, left, right, and center as it pertains to the Minnesota-Denver series. This one, I think we've gotten pretty right.
The home team has won every game.
Yeah, and you could just kind of feel it. I'm gonna go with the Pacers here.
Back against the wall.
I think they do it.
Hallie has been far better.
Siakam's got to show up.
You think?
That's what I think. This is going to be your Siakam. There you go. Your E40 Pascal Siakam.
That's right.
I like it. So yeah, I'm gonna go Pacers here. Force game 7. Stone cold lead pipe lock.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree because I also just want to see Madison Square Garden Game 7 Sunday. It has all of the juice in the world.
Having their souls ripped out at home would be hilarious.
Yeah. What are we going to see? When's the final TNT game? Because tonight's on ESPN. Tomorrow's game is on ABC.
They have conference final games.
They have conference finals?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
I think they have the East.
At least on Monday, we'll have, if there's a Game 7 between the Mavs and Thunder, that one is going to be, no, the East is ESPN.
Oh.
East is ESPN.
So they got West.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They got the West.
I think they alternate conferences each year.
Okay. But at least we'll get Monday with Mavs Thunder if they go to Game 7.
There you go.
We'll have another TNT game. Because that would be like the biggest bummer in all of this is that
We don't get to say goodbye.
We're in all likelihood this will be it for TNT.
It's not, on that. Real
Are they
quick,
Are they gonna do Gone Fishing for themselves?
Maybe, but there's also now been maybe a little bit more room here where Ernie might leave TNT.
Oh,
There's been that discussion out there because he doesn't want to leave the guys.
Okay.
Which loyalty is going to be tested? Which sucks.
I mean, Ernie Johnson has the ability in the cachet behind him to say, go to TNT and say, will you allow me to work for another network for this show only?
Yeah.
You know the importance of this show to me. You know what it means to our crew.
And you know
the
how
people we
long
work
I've
with.
worked here.
And just for this show only, I go and I work somewhere else because he does other things for Turner.
Everything.
So, and then go to another network, and you're telling me NBC wouldn't be like, yeah, we'll take Ernie. We will take you for this and this only. This is the only thing you have to do.
Offset his salary.
Yeah, like they need him.
Yeah.
He is the best moderator in sports.
Yes.
Like Charles, he can go anywhere. Charles and Kenny and Shaq, they can go anywhere, and they'll be who they are.
Yeah, but it won't work without Ernie.
It doesn't work with those three and no Ernie.
Also, we haven't really talked about this. Draymond Green has been awful. Awful his last couple appearances.
Yeah, I haven't thought awful. It's just that I think I'm looking at it through the lens of
I don't care about your hatred for Rudy Gobert anymore.
Well, and I don't care about what you're saying because I just want to enjoy if this is the last run of the Inside the NBA, I want to have them.
Yeah.
And nobody else. Don't bring me Jaren Jackson Jr. Don't bring me Draymond Green. Don't bring me anybody else. Just
don't bring me any of the current guys.
Give me the core.
Give me the crew.
Yeah. That's all I want.
Yeah. So, coming up next, we'll take a look at some maybe mock draft coverage. Danny and Dusty, Danny the Fan. In an exercise that I wouldn't wish upon my worst enemy, I did a mock draft for this draft class.
Ooh.
The entire first round. And I've done this before privately. Like, oh, this is how it'd go. This is what makes sense. And like, when people say that it's very hard for this class to kind of define it and who would go where and why, when you actually sit down to do it, it is a pain. Genuinely, it is a pain. So I did 1 through 30, did not do the second round because I don't think you can do a second round right now with any kind of accuracy, because there's going to be. So I had probably
Can
7.
I just say nobody gives an F about
yes,
second round mock drafts?
People do. They want all 60.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows. And the only reason why you should just have tiers of guys that could be drafted in the second round.
Yeah, and that's
it. Like
I
there's
had probably
no way you know what an NBA franchise is going to do in the second round, because it's you could take complete flyers on guys.
So many things
because you
change.
want it for 3 years.
Because CJ Ellaby gets drafted by the Portland Trailblazers, a guy that wasn't inside the top 100 for almost every draft expert.
Yep.
Still, I have no idea how that happened. I had probably about 8 guys that I could cycle through that are quote unquote second rounders that I could swap into the final 10 picks. Like, that's how fluid it is in that area. Like Oric Chomchi, who came through at Hoop Summit. I've seen and heard teams that have a first round grade on him. I've seen him mocked to Portland by ESPN. Like, I can very easily, and that's at pick 34. I can very easily see this group of 8 to 10 guys that could cycle in anywhere through there. For me, when I did this mock, there's inflection points. The consensus right now is that Sarr is number 1. It's not 100%. It's not Victor Wembanyama. It's not like, everybody knows. It's generally assumed that Sarr will go 1, and that Riza Shea will likely go 2. Now, that could change. It could be a smokescreen. But the inflection point for me first is at pick number 3, and that's Houston.
Yeah, wild card, because of everything that they could change with their roster. If they go and make a trade for Kevin Durant, all of a sudden everything changes. They're probably not picking, but at the same time, the need, if they go and they don't need to include a first this year, which Phoenix would be stupid not to, but and you have a full-on roster change, or say it's not even Kevin Durant, right? If they're going to make a move to bolster the roster, if they get Jimmy Butler, then all of a sudden they change their needs dramatically, and it's a massive shift.
And for me, I ended up going with Reed Shepherd there, Kentucky guard. Shot 45% or over 45% from 3. Pick number 4, and this is where I think so this is not just me going, I think this is what's going to happen. This is informed speculation. This is talking to other draft experts, front offices, scouts, getting an understanding of kind of what teams are looking at, who teams like and don't like. And there's stuff that gets out in public that is meant to be smokescreens. And then there's stuff that is in private that is more accurate about how certain executives feel about certain players. And so I try to piece all that together with, okay, if I were in this position, this is the kind of where I would go. And so at 4, I went Rob Dillingham to the Spurs. A lot of people have Topic there. Topic has had now 2 knee injuries. Does that give him a red flag at the combine on the medical side?
Yep. Yeah, I mean, 2 knee injuries, any combine would. But that's when you're the most cautious.
Yes, nothing's been torn yet, but you're kind of wondering, okay. I went Dillingham here just because of his shooting ability and kind of what that means, but that kind of pushes Topic further down the line with Buzelis at 5. We talked about him already. The other inflection point here in the top 10.
Buzelis at 5 to Detroit. Detroit is at 5.
Yes. The other inflection point is pick number 6. There's 3 different guys I could see going to Charlotte very easily, very, very simply. Stephon Castle, Donovan Clingan, Ron Holland.
They have a lot of needs at a lot of different positions.
And it all depends on which way they want to go. This is, for me, I think, the premier spot for Clingan if they want to have somebody in line alongside or behind Mark Williams, which I think that's maybe not the best use of the pick, but if that's what they want to go with, fine. Okay, I get it. I wouldn't.
And they're a wild card because you never know what they are going to do.
And
in a draft that is slotted where it is like,
nobody
hey,
knows. Yeah,
we know. But usually even if there are knowns, right? And it's like, this is A, B, C, D. These are the guys that we believe are going to go in order. Charlotte has drafted guys just out of the blue. You're like, what the hell are you doing? But in this draft, it's even more confusing.
It's a new ownership. It's a new front office. So, and we saw that the Brandon Miller pick was actually Michael Jordan's pick on the way out. So we haven't really seen what this front office wants to do yet. But I went Steph Castle. I think that he's the guy that could be the glue guy in between LaMelo and Brandon Miller. And if his shooting comes around, that could be a special backcourt.
Okay. Now, that takes us to 7, where the Portland Trailblazers are. Okay. Now, off the board already is Sarr, Rizachet, Dillingham, Bezalis,
Shepherd, Castle.
Shepherd, and Castle.
Yep.
Okay. That leaves Donovan Clingan, Rob Dillingham.
No, Dillingham's gone.
Or Dillingham's gone, sorry.
Holland.
Ron Holland, Nikola Topic, Dalton Connect, and Saloon.
And Jacoby Walter.
And Jacoby Walter.
Yes.
Where do they go?
I ended up going 7. I went Cody Williams. I'm not straying too much from my evaluation even back to January and February. 2 of the guys in my big board of guys that it was a big board focused on what I would do if I was Portland ranking prospects. I had Cody Williams 3, Tijon Saloon 5 overall on my big board. I have been high on those 2 guys for 4 or 5 months. Those are just watching the film and getting an early start on those guys. They are not without risk, but I ended up going with Cody Williams here because he finished almost 74% of his shots at the rim, flashed 40% ability as a 3-point shooter. The NBA pedigree, yes, being Jalen Williams' brother helps him. There's no doubt about that. But even if he's not aggressive enough, air quotes, he's a child. He is incredibly young. And even though he weighed in at 180 pounds, his brother was the same way. He's got a frame that you can pack weight on. I don't think he's going to be Kawhi Leonard, but I can very easily see him getting up to 205, 210 pretty easily. Like, his wingspan was insane. He came out of the combine with a 7'1" wingspan at just under 6'7".
Does it bother you or concern you that even though he has flashed the ability to shoot, I think between the Pac-12 tournament and the NCAA tournament, he made 1 3-pointer?
No, because he was playing with an ankle that was basically just holding on by a thread.
Oh.
He shouldn't have been playing.
That doesn't scare you either?
No. When you roll,
it does me.
No, when you roll an ankle, you roll an ankle. It is what it is. He went out there and played. And it's a bummer. But when he was playing the previous 25 games, he was very good. Okay. And I look at that and I go, and that was as a true freshman. You take a look at Jalen Williams, who comes out after his junior year. Again, if you take Cody Williams here, I am prefacing this now. If the Portland Trailblazers take either of Saloon or Williams, they are not going to be good in their rookie year. It is May 17th. I am telling you this now. Do not I want to see this guy who's going to average 17, 18. No. In 2 years. In 2 years. Because they are both children. And they both, Saloon doesn't need to get better physically. He needs to get better on the feel side of things. Cody needs to get better physically.
And I'll tell you, that is not something that Blazer fans want to hear or see, but that is the reality of what you're doing in a rebuild.
Yes.
Taking
swings.
When people say you're not about that rebuild life, this is it right here. Like, you're going to be this is not a deep draft. You're at 7 in a draft that it doesn't have high top end talent, but it has those big swing kind of guys. And that goes back to kind of what you were saying, in that if you're not going to be in the top 2, dropping down in the draft wasn't the worst thing in the world for this team this year.
No.
It will be next year.
Yes, if you fall back in the 2025 draft, it's going to be a problem. But that leaves, you make those picks up through 7. That leaves Topic, Holland, Connect, Walter, Clingan, McCain, Saloon. Those are all on the board going up to 14. And I think if you get your guy at 7, that's where 14 can end up shaping it. We had Corey on earlier of No Ceilings. He mentioned, if you get your guy at 7, and let's say it's Cody,
Now you say McCain, Jared McCain, the Duke point guard?
Duke point guard. He is a guy who has risen up quite a bit. And also Devin Carter, I have at 15 going to the Miami Heat. I've also heard that he has a lottery promise, which if you look at how things are shaking out, that's probably at pick 13 to the Kings. Okay. So the interesting thing about McCain is he's not the same player, but if you want to go shades of, he reminds me of CJ McCollum, who if you don't know the history here, the Sacramento Kings promised C.J. McCollum and then did not take him when he was there. C.J. McCollum roasted and continues to fry the Kings every time he plays them because he singularly holds that grudge.
Well, that's a 6'3" guard.
Mm-hmm. Who shoots the living hell out of the ball. But again, this is not for Portland. That's for Sacramento. They might need to replace Malik Monk. But I did this exercise, and I got to about 15 or 16, and I went, oh, my God. What do I do from here? And that's the thing, is once you get through the lottery, the machinations that come out of this are just endless.
And I would encourage people, if you want more, to go check out the Patreon, because you have write-ups on all 30 prospects too and where you slotted them at. So again, who do you have going top 3?
My top 3 right now are Sarr, Reza Shea, and Shepard.
7 to Portland.
Cody Williams.
14 to Portland.
If it worked out, I've got Tijon Saloon. I think he might be getting too much heat.
Yeah, he is. He's a guy that a lot of folks are talking about right now.
Rising for quite some time now.
All right.
Unfortunately.
Okay.
All right, coming up next, it is Friday afternoon. It is approximately 2:30, which means it's time for America's favorite game show, Jeff Russ. But first, here's the man himself with a Sports Center update.
This is a PGA Championship Week edition of Danny and Dusty.
Brought to you by Langdon Farms Golf Club.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
This update brought to you by Crunch Fitness. Memberships as low as $9.99 per month. Find your Crunch time in Portland, Vancouver, and online at crunch.com. First on The Fan, plenty of drama at the PGA Championship ahead of the weekend as world number 1 Scottie Scheffler arrested by Louisville Metro Police this morning. He was attempting to enter Valhalla Golf Club while also trying to avoid traffic stemming from a pedestrian fatality involving a shuttle bus. The start of round 2 was delayed due to the accident. Scheffler returned and played his second round, shooting a 5 under 66, leaving him at 9 under overall. That is now 3 strokes off the pace. First round leader Xander Schauffele is 3 under on the day through 9, putting him at 12 under par. 1 stroke clear of Colin Morikawa at 11 under, alongside Scheffler at 9 under are Mark Hubbard and Thomas Dietrich. The Pacers host the Knicks this evening, looking to extend the series to a Sunday Game 7 at Madison Square Garden. OG Anunoby out for New York as he continues to deal with a hamstring injury. Tip at 5:30 on ESPN. The Pacers are 5.5-point favorites. And the Mariners kicking off a 10-game road trip with 3 at the Orioles. Bryce Miller on the hill for Seattle. John Means for Baltimore. 4:05 first pitch on Root Sports. The Mariners with a 1.5 lead over the Rangers for the AL West lead. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
The Fan merch locker is now open with shirts from the fan shows and hosts you love. Get yours now at 1080thefan.com.
No more glasses or contacts, but is the solution LASIK or ICL? Attend King LASIK's free live webinar Thursday, May 23rd at noon, and Dr. King will tell you. Get all your questions answered and a special savings on LASIK. Register at kinglasik.com.
It's Friday afternoon. It's just at 2:30, which means it could be one. And one thing only, ladies and gentlemen. Jeff Russ. Oh. Senor Russ, take it away.
All right. I don't know if you guys heard, but world number 1 Scotty Scheffler got arrested this morning.
What?
Yeah. It's bananas, right?
Yeah.
No way. He surely didn't play.
Yeah, of course. How could you do that when you're in the clink? Anyway, so after what appears to be a colossal misunderstanding as he tried to enter Valhalla Golf Club, he's charged with second-degree assault of a police officer, third-degree criminal mischief, reckless driving, disregarding traffic signals from an officer directing traffic. The officer was transported to a local hospital with, quote, pain, swelling, and abrasions, end quote, to his left wrist and knee. And in every story that you read, they do make a point of saying the officer's uniform pants, valued at $80, were damaged beyond repair. Because that's the big tidbit in there.
That's the big one there.
Scheffler, famously unflappable, yesterday eagled his first hole back after his wife gave birth. Came out and birdied his first hole today after getting out of the clink. He is now, well, let's see, Xander Schauffele with another birdie. So he's 4 strokes off the pace now. Schauffele's at 13. But Scheffler went out and shot at 5 under 66. So come Sunday, who raises the Wanamaker Trophy?
Wanamaker.
Scotty Scheffler.
Or
The field.
Give me Scheffler.
Field. I'll go the field. Odds are in that favor.
I'm not a coward. Give me
I
Scheffler.
think that Colin Morikawa could be hoisting the Wanamaker. I mean, Xander Schauffele's due, right?
He's playing pretty well again today. 4 under through 10.
Yeah, I mean, he could blow up and pull a Rory at Augusta and shoot an 80. Or do what he did last year, which is go over par twice after shooting, a 62. But I'm going to go, I think Colin Morikawa. Or, I mean, you just look at the stack of golfers that are at 9 under or at 8 under and just sitting there in the hunt. I mean, I'm going to go the field.
All right.
Alrighty. The Pacers host the Knicks tonight, looking to extend that series to a Game 7 on Sunday
What?
at MSG. Right. OG Anunoby still out for New York. 5:30 tip on ESPN. The Pacers are 5.5-point favorites. We got a Game 7 on Sunday.
or
Nah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
We get a Game 7. We're going Game 7.
Let's go. We're manifesting.
I love it.
Get the prayer circles out.
I need more Game 7s. We already have 1. We could have 2. We could have 3.
We could have 3. Speaking of we could have 3, tomorrow evening, Game 6 as the Mavericks host the Thunder with a chance to finish off the number 1 seed. Tip at 5 o'clock on ABC. Dallas currently 3.5-point favorites there. We got a Game 7 on Monday.
or
Nah.
No.
Ooh.
I want the Game 7, and I'm hoping to manifest. I think the Mavs close this out.
They're at home.
I think the Mavs close this out.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to go 2. I want 3 Game 7s,
Be
damn it.
great.
I think we only get 2. Them winning on the road at OKC.
That's tough. You better get it done here.
Yeah, that's brutal.
And we do for sure have 1 Game 7 on Sunday after the Timberwolves smoked the Nuggets with a 45-point win last night, in which Denver scored just 9 points in the fourth quarter. Not that would have made a big difference. The Nuggets currently 4.5-point home favorites. Who moves on? The Nuggets
or
the Timberwolves?
Cute game from the Timberwolves. Nuggets still win.
I'm going to go with the best player in the world imposing his will. I'm going to go Nugs. But we've been wrong about this series left and right, so probably the Timberwolves.
We're going to move over to
Do they have road throwback uniforms? Because if they do,
If the Timberwolves do.
I'm going Timberwolves.
They bring out the blacks.
I would have never picked against them had I known they were not.
They
were wearing
do
those
have
ones.
the black
Oh, they do?
KGs.
Well, they should wear those.
Ooh. Wear black because you're going to a funeral?
That'll get spicy.
That's
I
right.
like it.
Harness your inner Troy Hudson.
Let's go on over to the NFL. Schedules released yesterday. Caesars Sportsbook and Casino has the Broncos over-ender set at 6 wins in the first year of the Sean Payton Bo Nix era. Over
or
under 6 wins in Denver.
Smashing the under. Unequivocally, unabashedly smashing the under.
Oh, boy. Where were they at in their strength of schedule? I think that they were amongst one of the easier strengths of schedule in the NFL based on where their games are at. Let me check this here really quick. Nope, I'm going under.
Rookie quarterback, no weapons.
So that strength of schedule not looking good then, huh?
8th toughest schedule in the NFL.
Yeah.
Tough
Yep.
schedule, rookie quarterback, no weapons. Yeah, no. Smash the under. Nope. If they win 4, I'll be impressed.
Meanwhile, Caesars has the Chargers at 9 wins in Justin Herbert's first season under
Over.
Jim Harbaugh.
Over.
Under 9.
Over. Second easiest schedule in the NFL.
Yeah.
They get the breaks that kind of go their way. They've upgraded their coach. They do not have the weapons at wide receiver yet. They're going to be very young there, but they have Jim Harbaugh as their coach. Their mentality is changing tremendously.
The only injured guy they have on their roster that's continually injured is Bosa. All the other guys who consistently get injured are all gone now.
Hey, there's
So
hope
there you
there.
go.
All right.
Is that it?
That's
There you
it.
go.
That's it.
Yeah.
What a rousing edition of Orr.
We went pretty rapid fire
There
today
you go.
there.
I like
Yeah,
it.
we did.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
You want to talk
God.
about prison more?
I was to say, Jeff Russ got us out of here like the processing in Louisville.
In and out.
In-
No bail.
In, out, no bail. Oh, no, he got bail.
Only because you're a rich white golfer.
Yeah. Oh, he got out without posting bail, they said.
Oh, they just processed him and let him go, huh?
Yeah.
God, they do catch and release in Kentucky, huh?
Apparently. Apparently they do. At least
about
that's
right.
what I read.
All right.
I mean, he got to watch himself on TV while he's in jail.
That's got to be weird.
Right.
Hey, in case you're wondering, that's me.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be there.
Yeah.
See that video of your buddy right there walking me to the car? Uh-huh. You're so fired. You're so fired.
You're so fired, bro. You're so fired. You're going to get fired, dude.
All right, coming up next, teased it earlier. Dabo, Clemson. He's a great coach, but would you please shut up? Danny and Dusty, 10 the Fan.
Hello, sports fans, and
You know, if you guys are wondering about old Dabo Swinney and the Clemson Tigers, you know, that was a great coach. He's had some incredibly great teams. He has been to the mountain and back. But remember, there's a time when college players were going to get paid and he wasn't going to be a coach anymore.
That's right. He said, the day that college athletes get paid is the day I find something new to do.
Well, he's still here, and, well, he's picked up the goalpost, threw him on his back, and moved him forward.
Yeah, he just doesn't get it. And they were one of 4 teams in all of college football that did not accept a single transfer out of the transfer portal. The other 3 were Army, Navy, and Air Force.
Because transferring to those particular schools requires a signature from a sitting senator.
Yeah, they don't have that.
It's not a very common occurrence.
That is so rare. And it's not like guys are not leaving the Clemson program. And Dabo has this illusion that, well, we're fine with our roster just the way it is. We recruit our guys, we keep them, we develop them. And he does. And they were really good last year. Like, Clemson was good
We made fun of them. Didn't they win 10 games?
Yeah, they did. I mean, no, they've always been good.
Very good.
But there will come a time, and there is coming a time where they're not going to be that good because they play in the ACC.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like what we thought of the Pac-12 a couple of years ago.
That's what the ACC
That's what
actually
the ACC is. They have one good team. One.
Yeah.
And then they got a few teams that are like,
that pop up.
They're all right. Like, they're okay. Miami, yeah, they can sneak up and get you. North Carolina can sneak up and get you. North Carolina State, they can do that too. Nobody is threatening anybody except for Florida State. So you have one team. And then Clemson, which they've won national titles. Like, they've been really good. But this past year, they're not the same team. They're not imposing their dominance like they once did before NIL. And this is one of the things that Dabo's talking about with the portal. And he went on SiriusXM and was talking about why they didn't take guys out of the portal. And some of this is spot on by Dabo. Other things, he's out to lunch on.
There's 3 types of players in the portal. I mean, it's really pretty simple. Most of the guys in the portal aren't good enough to play for us.
Yeah.
That's just the reality of it.
Fact.
I mean, we have guys that are backups at Clemson that go in the portal because they just want to have an opportunity. And most of them are graduates, by the way. But we have guys that are backups or, they want a chance to go play. And I got no problem with that. And so rarely do we have a starter leave Clemson. You've got the majority of the guys, they're guys that are in the portal because they want to have a chance to go start somewhere. Mm-hmm. They're not playing where they are. They're not good enough to come in and play for us. And so we'd rather take a good high school player as long as we can get them, which we do, and you develop them. That's the first type. The second type of guy that goes in the portal is he's only going in the portal as a formality because the deal's already been done. Mm-hmm. He knows where he's going before he ever goes in the portal. So we're not getting that guy. Mm-hmm. And then the third type of guy is going in the portal just to see what he can get. And we're never going to win that war. So, we've been really fortunate because, first of all, we're established, been there 16 years. Mm-hmm. And we don't have a lot of attrition. I mean, we had 127 guys go through spring ball and 125 are still on the roster, after spring, post-portal closing. So that's a miracle in today's world.
He was right on most of the guys that are in the portal, they're not good enough to start where they were, and they're not good enough to start at Clemson. He's right about that.
Absolutely.
He is so far out of touch with a lot of the other things that guys just either they want the bag or, they're malcontents and their team didn't want them. That is so wrong. Sometimes,
I mean, those guys are out there, but that's not the majority of guys in the portal.
One thing Dabo is missing on completely is sometimes you go to a place and you're like, this is not the right fit for me.
Sure.
And there's an awareness within, And these are kind of guys that you want to recruit out of the portal because they realize I'm looking for something specific. And it's not because this was too hard. Maybe they're extremely talented, but there's not enough structure around them. And they have this awareness that I'm not going to succeed if I don't have that. That seems like a guy that Clemson could use and be really good at. That's like a guy like Evan Stewart that transferred to
Self-awareness
Oregon.
is good.
Who went from Texas. It was a highly touted prospect, went to Texas A&M. There, people at Texas A&M were talking about, he's not a good team guy. He doesn't follow rules and is kind of a malcontent. He, in his first media availability at Oregon, said the structure of Oregon is what drew me to come here because there's a lot of places that offer NIL opportunities, and he's like, there just wasn't a lot of structure at Texas A&M. Like that was not the place
He's not
for
the
me.
first person to say that.
No. And there's the other thing that Dabo's missing because Evan Stewart came from Texas A&M, which fired their coach. Your head coach leaves, and a lot of what these guys are doing when your head coach leaves, you don't want to play for the guy that they hire behind him. You sit there and you say, all right, where is a coach that is a sitting head coach that has a lot of stability there, isn't going to go anywhere? I want to go to a place like that because it's a stable environment, and I know the coach isn't going to bolt on me. Maybe you should try to recruit some of those guys, Dabo, because you've got a mega deal that they can't buy you out even if you suck.
And you've won titles.
You've won titles and have been so successful. Like that's such a wrong way to look at improving your roster and why guys enter the portal. To just boil it down to 3 things that you can all say, well, this is why we don't do it. Well, why don't you look at maybe how do we improve our roster through it? Because we can do it. And then with Dabo going, everybody stays here. Come on. You know what you want to do? Make your roster better.
Yeah.
Because maybe you'll go back to college football playoffs, winning national titles, if you go down that road again.
Yeah, you get some more Sammy Watkinsons and some Deshaun Watsons and some Trevor Lawrences, and guess what happens?
Yeah.
You start winning again.
Yep.
And it's not that they're not winning, but you start winning at those higher levels. Look, I get the hesitancy and the lack of wanting to change because as you get older, you don't get more flexible, you get less. That's just the reality. Some are better than others at making those adjustments as they get older, and it's like Saban always used to be, rigid and against this, that, and the other. The thing is he was never against it. He just did it in public. Dabo doing this both publicly and behind closed doors.
Yeah.
Because Saban would be like, oh, we don't do this. We're about this. And then he gets on TV and he's like, yeah, no, we were recruiting a guy from outside of Toledo who wasn't in the portal.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, we all knew, Nick. No kidding.
There's a lot of guys that they have their mind made up when they enter the portal, and that's okay. But I don't. You're going to go the way of the dodo.
Yeah,
you've
got to adjust, man. You don't have to completely change everything, but you got to know when to give.
Did you see what Jimbo Fisher did? I don't know why Jimbo Fisher's doing interviews.
Because he's got time?
Yeah. Doing his reshaping